Welcome in, everybody, the Fantasy Football Fanalist Podcast. I am joined today by the man, the myth, the legend, Matt Kelley, a.k.a. the Podfather. He is the owner and creator of Player Profiler, and everyone knows his show, Mind Mansion, and we are excited to have him on the pod today. We're going to be talking rookies, prospects. We're going to be talking about where you should take them inside your drafts here in early February at Underdog Best Ball. Welcome to the show, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, baby, I'm ready, feeling good. We got the whole background set up here with the lighting. Your camera looks fantastic.
Thanks, dude. So does yours.
You're high res. You're doing well.
And we're gonna have some high res draft picks here shortly. So stay tuned, everyone. We'll get this intro going, and we're gonna come back and start jumping into some of these questions.
Welcome to the Fantasy Football Fanalists Podcast, powered by Underdog Fantasy and presented by Fantasy Data, home to some of the industry's most accurate rankings.
Well, everyone's here to hear us talk about rookie draft picks and prospects, but you know what? We're going to talk pairs because last time we were on this show.
This is very classic, by the way. This is what I do. This is what I do. I go in. Everyone thinks, oh, football talk, and then curveball to start the show.
Yeah, 100%. We brought everybody in here to talk about pair trees. Like, forget running backs, forget wide receivers, forget best ball. We're talking about pairs. Last we were on the show, or I was on your show, I should say. We were talking about graphing pairs, and I should have saved the picture to pull it up. Your mind was blown learning about graphing of pairs. I want to ask you, how are your pear trees doing? Are they covered in blankets right now? Or you have snow where you're at?
No, I checked them. Okay, so they're not too sensitive here. A little bit north, it's sketchy, but I'm down here near the coast in Connecticut. The ground doesn't freeze too bad, so they seem to do fine in the winter without any extra protection. I checked them because I saw this on the show sheet. They're looking good. I got the 2 Bartlett pairs. I got one that's sort of straight up. I got one that's sort of a weeping willow looking thing. One produced 1 pair last year. The other produced 7. Had some worms, had some bugs, got maybe 2 good pairs out of it.
It's like return on investment. It's like a $40 pair with all the
It's progress, though. It's progress. And I've heard a few things since. So a couple things. You can spray the pears in apples too, but you have to spray them when they're flowering, because actually the worms will get into the flower, okay, and then they sort of will hibernate inside, and then they will pop out of the pear. Because it's weird, right? It's like, how the hell did that worm get in there?
It's like an alien.
How'd that bug get the fuck in there? There's only an out tunnel. There's no in tunnel. Well, that's because they curled up inside the flower before the thing even became fruit.
It's like a pear cocoon.
Yeah, so you got to get in. You got to get into the flowers early, so you could do that. The other thing that people do is, and it's tricky with pears, is you have to have the specific breed of pear that can cross pollinate. So you have to have a Bartlett on a Bartlett. But then there's also this weird thing where there's these cross pollinators that are super pollinators, and they're compatible with anything. That's why when you go to a pear orchard, you'll find randomly crabapple trees. Crabapple trees are compatible with any apple tree and pear trees. I don't know how the hell that works, but it's fickle, where the pears only like either other pears, but they'll accept the pollination from crabapple trees. So that's why if you're going to have a bunch of trees, just post up a crabapple tree in the middle, and that'll pretty much take care of any pollination problems.
That's awesome. I didn't know about the crabapple trees. I haven't had a lot of pollination issues with the pears we had. The first year, we just let them, trim it all back. Don't let them pollinate, or don't let them grow fruit. You want the roots to kind of develop. And then from there, the second year, we had a fall spring here. It was like 60 degrees, and I started noticing it looked like it was going to start flowering soon. I'm like, no, I got to cut all that off. So went through and cut everything off, and good thing it's snowing outside again today. So now back to square one. We'll let the real spring come do his business, and we should have a pretty good year. So
I feel bad for tulips, man. In these climates, these certain climates where it's starting to get warmer earlier for a random 2 or 3 day stretch. So some of these poor flowering entities, they just it's a bummer for them. They're like, hey, it's time, let's go. Oh shit.
People are tuning in. They're like, what the fuck are they talking about? Pear trees and I thought we're talking about rookies here.
Yeah, the original. I think that was the original bubble, wasn't it? The tulip bubble.
I have no idea.
In Holland, I think that was the original bubble. I think that's where it came. That was the original mania. Was the tulip bulbs were currency at one point.
I like tulips. I think they're pretty flowers, and I like to just come back every year, right? That they're just
it's the first. It was the first currency. It was the first bubble. It was the first mania.
That's pretty cool. Learn something every day.
Yeah, man. Well, you learn crab apples. You got the tulip mania.
Yep.
And now, we're gonna do best ball mania is a thing on Underdog, right?
Yeah, it is. And we have another thing that's a thing is our sites keep partnering, so that's great. We have Fantasy Data and Player Profiler continuing to partner, it looks like. And our two sites bring some of the best tools to this industry. So tell me, what's going on? What's new over at Player Profile? Spill the beans.
So on Fantasy Data, if you subscribe to their advanced data package, their premium NFL package, there's a whole bunch of advanced data pages you have access to: quarterback, running back, wide receiver. And through our API, the data integration, it pulls key metrics. And a lot of the metrics you actually showed in the introduction to the show. Yep. Contested catch, conversion rate, and juke rate. And this year, we're rolling out a bunch of new metrics, a bunch of expected values, like expected yards, expected touchdowns. Josh Larkey's done a great job looking at things like air yards and yards created and yards blocked to try to create a better, more comprehensive expected value. And then you can compare expected versus actual, and that gives you a sense of which players are generally more efficient. A player like Tom Brady is always going to exceed. Aaron Rodgers are always going to exceed their expected, because it's like for any given throw and this down and this distance with this yards to go, generally speaking, a quarterback's going to give you X. Well, those quarterbacks are going to give you more than that. That's what makes them great, is exceeding expected output. And we're also going to be doing a lot with cornerbacks and wide receivers. So check in, a month from now on our player pages, and then ideally those get integrated into the fantasy data pages as well for those advanced packages. Those will be available at some point, I'm sure. And you'll see wide receiver success versus zone, success versus man, win rates, is sort of a better way to put it. Are you winning against that corner or not? And because we had, for the first time this fall, we had a team specifically dedicated to charting the all-22 tape so that we could look at every route run by every receiver and see, are you getting open? Are you getting separation? So separation versus man, separation versus zone. And that's going to give you a better sense for...
And it's overlooked a lot in when people are identifying talent inside these classes, separation, as I think.
Oh, and it's a big data point for DFS in particular.
Yep.
It's nice because it's sort of paired with, if you will,
the pair,
right? Another innovation or new feature we're rolling out, which are team profiles, which are these robust team profiles, where essentially you can see percentage of zone versus man, pace of play. Pretty much, imagine our player pages, but think on a team level, aggregate. So that's going to be interesting. Like, everyone knows the 49ers are number one in team yards after the catch, right? You know that. You're a 49ers fan, but it's now common knowledge. Who's number two, right? So you'll be able to see all of that on these advanced team pages. And I'm sure eventually down the road, that data will then be able to be accessible for subscribers on Fantasy Data as well, and in the premium packages. And then we have another level of integration with Fantasy Data in that if you're a commercial subscriber to the Fantasy Data feed, you can also add on advanced data. So if you run a sports book or any resource where you're providing analytical edge or stats and information to customers, and you're already subscribed to the Fantasy Data base package for play-by-play data and maybe DFS data, maybe college data, well, now you can also add on advanced metrics to that package.
Exciting stuff. I'm excited for both Fantasy Data and your site player profiler. I'm loving, like, when I'm doing research and I'm doing rankings, whether it's weekly rankings or it's rookie rankings, or I'm just trying to create my best ball rankings. I have Fantasy Data pulled up on one screen. I have player profiler pulled up on another screen, and I'm just looking at metrics. I'm looking at I just hit my microphone. Awesome. And I'm just taking a look at all the different statistics that I can to help break down and analyze the data. And it's like most of these times, like before having these packages, you'd had to go to like 8, 9, 10 different sites to try to pull data and manually separate it all. Because I'm not.
That's why I built the site, bro.
Yeah, exactly.
This is the reason. I had 7 tabs.
Yeah.
I had spreadsheets on spreadsheets. I was like, this is enough of this shit.
Yeah. And now you can just
have
go
this on like a website. And I was like, you know what? And I waited and waited years.
No one built it.
No one built the goddamn thing. I had to build the thing.
What is the move if you build it?
Now it's too late. I wouldn't build that thing. People liked it. Now this is all I fucking do all day. It's not my life. I can't get away from it. Every day I wake up with a new idea. Oh, we should do this on the site. It's like I'm embedded, bro. I can't get out. And I don't want to get. Obviously, I don't want to get out.
No,
I love it.
It's the dream.
I love it. But even if I wanted to, I couldn't. If I wanted to go, let's say I wanted to go do something else. It was really like lucrative. Someone gave me some offer you can't refuse, dude. And I'd be like, oh man, yeah, I'll do that. Sure, I'll walk away. What am I gonna? I'll be no use to you. I'll be at lunch just thinking about player profiler stuff. What good am I to anybody? Useless.
Well, speaking of player profile, speaking of fantasy data, speaking of statistics, let's hop into these rookie rankings or just rookie draft class first, I should say.
Yeah.
What's your initial take on this draft class? We've heard a lot of people say, "Oh, it's not a good draft class. It's a weak draft class." What is your take on the 2022 draft class?
It's pretty bad. I mean, it's pretty bad. It's not as good as most draft classes. It's not the worst. I don't know. Let's see. 28th percentile draft class.
Not 29th?
No, 28th. Dude, I'm locking into a percentile. We're percentiles here. And I can't wait for the combine. I mean, that's when you really want to use player profiler. We get our highest traffic during the combine. Everyone's like, you must get so much traffic in August and the draft. And I'm like, not as much as the combine, dude.
Everyone's looking at the rookies.
Oh, man. When we see those athleticism metrics come in,
yep,
it's going to be very interesting to see Breece Hall, to see these running backs in particular. Are they fast? Are they not? We've had this happen so often where people get real excited about a player and their tape and their tackle breaking ability. Then they run a 4.7 like David Cobb or Zach Moss, and it's just over. Like, it's over when the combine happens. Their career might as well have never happened because it wasn't going to happen. Other players, they go to the combine and you're like, oh, you're a superstar.
Combine
you're
Warriors.
Jonathan Taylor. You're Antonio Gibson. People don't know your name that well right now. Oh, they're going to know your name in a year or two when you start to unleash this explosiveness on the league. So it's very exciting. And
I feel like the combine goes one of two ways, though. It's like it could go down that route, or it could go like the Jerick McKinnon route, where you're this just combine warrior, and then you come out and you just underperform in your season. Yes, you have show flashes of greatness, and it's the what could have been scenario, right?
I wouldn't use that example, Billy, because that is a red herring. Most running backs that are that athletic with receiving skills are good.
Yes, I do think he's good.
I would be careful on that.
Injured.
The better example would be the wide receivers.
True.
The wide receivers that jump out of the gym. You know, you got to be very careful. We've been fooled. We've all been fooled. You know a guy named Jeff Janis?
Yeah.
You ever heard of a guy? Ever heard of Jeff? He had the best combine that in that class, and that was one of the great classes of all time, the 2014 class. And he, size-adjusted athlete, not going to beat him, right? Not since Julio Jones. It was amazing. And you know what? And poof, right? And poof. So you're going to have that happen quite a bit at the wide receiver position. But that's not a reason to just not draft athletes at the wide receiver position. Sometimes a guy happens to be in the SEC playing with top-level competition, both as target competition and against NFL corners, and then he goes and shows incredible athleticism. That's the Julio Jones corollary. Julio Jones wasn't like the super productive dude at Alabama. He was in a run-first offense, but he was efficient, and then he blew the doors off the combine with a broken foot and top 10 pick, and that's all she wrote. That was pretty much DK Metcalf too, right? DK Metcalf had a very similar prospect profile path to the NFL, just didn't get the top 10 draft capital for whatever reason. There might have been foot concerns, agility concerns, separation concerns. However, whoever had concerns, those are silly concerns. Should be no concerns about DK Metcalf. So certainly athleticism matters. It just matters more for running backs.
So when you talk about athleticism, I know that you have, your process in terms of evaluating rookie talent. Walk me through that process, not necessarily the site's process, but you specifically when you're doing fantasy drafts early in February like this.
Well,
I guess they might be one of the same.
I want to talk to the guys that are in it, right? So fortunately at Player Profiler, we have a couple guys, Andy and Cody specifically, that are watching a lot of college football, and they just know. Like, they know. They're like, Breece Hall is on another level.
Yep.
So when I hear that, okay, cool. And then so I go and look at Breece Hall, and I'm like, oh, yeah, this guy was a monster producer. This guy is catching passes. This guy is super young. Holy shit, this guy is really good. And then you go out and you look at other analysts, and as it turns out, man, the other analysts, the film graders, Lance Zierlein, for example, they don't love any of these running backs. He's not loving Breece Hall. And then you look at the mocks, and he's going fringe second round, maybe third round. And you're like, wait, if Breece Hall is going this late, there's a couple things going on. Either A, the NFL is not as sold on him as we are, and B, the NFL is not valuing running backs as much as they used to, and they're just continuing to deteriorate. And it's possible that what we saw a couple of years ago with Najee Harris and Travis Etienne going in the first round, that was an anomaly. It's very possible that last year's draft was a total anomaly, and that the norm is actually running backs not getting drafted until, say, pick 40. That could be the new normal. And that would make sense. When you talk to NFL front office executives, most of them understand that. Or most of them understand that you're not going to move the needle drafting a running back. It's just not going to happen. I think if Saquon Barkley came out now, he would not be a top 10 pick.
Yeah, I think you're starting to see the trend in general with running backs. The only time I see it happening now is like player or teams that move up into the end of the first round that know that player may not be available in the first half of round 2, day 2 drafts. And I think that's the really only thing that's driving that price up still with these rookie running backs. Prime example was last year. You look at even what the Patriots did with Sony Michel, right? Those type of moves are what's keeping that cost afloat, I think. But I agree.
Look at all the running backs that are currently free agents.
Yeah,
Leonard Fournette, Melvin Gordon, Chase Edmonds, James Conner, Cordarrelle Patterson, Sony Michel. What about Rashad Penny? Marlon Mack, the aforementioned Jerick McKinnon, Raheem Mostert. There's a lot of options. Go all the way down to Dante Foreman, even Ronald Jones. Yep. So there's a lot. There's a lot of options at running back. So it's just continuing to deteriorate. The value of running backs, if you are a running back, if you're a running back agent, it's just a bad business to be in. It's just not good, man. Why not just sign Chase Edmonds for $4 million a year and use that draft pick on another high-value, high-impact position that can grow to be something really valuable?
You mean you don't like the Zeke Elliott contract?
Yeah, it's just like, that's what I'm talking about. It's just, these are albatross contracts. It's not worth it. And I feel bad. They take such a beating. There's such a punishment. And especially the rookies. See, in startups, generally speaking, and in rookie drafts as well, that first round, you're looking at a running back. You want to post up a running back, make sure you're getting a young running back. When I was drafting Jonathan Taylor at the end of the first round a couple of years ago in startups, 10 slots ahead of ADP, because his ADP was like player 19, player 20 in startups at the time. So to take him at the 111, it was like, you're getting the side eye from people. Like, really? A little early for Jonathan Taylor. I'm surprised you didn't go Dalvin Cook there or whatever. And I'm like, Dalvin Cook?
People get stuck on a name.
What are you talking about? I want the backside of a dude's career? Are you kidding me? That's the last thing. Imagine a bell curve, and the entire back half of that bell curve is like, stay away, do not enter, all red, and then the front half is all green. You want those first 3 years of a dynamic running back's production, their contract, their career. That's what you want. And it's sad that that's actually when they're the most underpaid, and it's almost a crime that they don't get paid at all. And that's because in collective bargaining, it's all veterans that are doing the bargaining, and the rookies have no say.
Earn your stripes.
It's all about the second contract. That's why for running backs especially, and it's why even Melvin Gordon getting such a raw deal. He's been productive his whole career, and he's never actually made much money except maybe, did he get the fifth-year option? He might have got the fifth-year option from the Chargers. I don't even know if he got the fifth-year option. I can't remember. That would have been the chance for him to make some actual real money on a per-year basis. That's gross to me. But what are you going to do? In Dynasty, I have this handy book here called the Dynasty Dominator book.
Never heard of it.
Reloaded. It's great. And we lay out the strategy. Like, you need to get these super talented backs in their first 3 years of their contract in the league, and then you got to bail before they get to their next contract. Just bail. Certainly there are exceptions. Certainly if a guy is lightly used and he checks all the boxes and he's on the right offense and everything's clicking into place, like Austin Eckler or Joe Mixon, different story, right? That's a player happy to ride into his second contract. But you can see the usage. You can see the pattern. You know how it's going to play out. And you need, like, Dalvin Cook's a perfect example where bailing, ripcord, Nick Chubb, ripcord, get out of there, dude. Get out of there.
Yeah, tail end of the career is the classic, right? Like buy low, sell high philosophy in Dynasty, where
but
you're
you got to
getting
do
them.
it a year early. See, because everyone's
Correct.
already adjusting to that,
Yeah.
Billy, you got to go even a year earlier.
Yeah, you have to sell when it's almost uncomfortable, right?
Yeah, you have to be uncomfortable. You have to be like, oh, man, I can't believe I'm trading this guy at his absolute peak. I can't believe I'm doing this. Oh, my God, I'm doing it. You got to do it.
That's how you get the most value. Like right now is like the perfect time to sell Cooper Kupp, right? Like
There's
everybody.
always going to be the next guy.
Yep.
The next guy, the next DeAndre Swift is a year away. He's going to be there in that 2023 class. Get a first-round pick and use one of them on the next guy and restock, and you just churn, and you never are left holding the bag unless you make some catastrophic mistake like drafting Darius Geis. Like, that's going to happen sometimes. Oh, well, you take the L and you move on. But you're never going to get that Rashad Penny year. Like, you're going to be long gone from Rashad Penny. You're not going to let him clog your roster. If he ends up breaking out and leading the league in breakaway runs like he did on a per-touch basis last year, cool, great, good for him, but not on my team. Long gone.
So we talked. Let's hop into some of our rankings real quick. We have a couple questions here. Let's answer a couple questions first, then we'll hop in. I feel like he's trolling us more than anything. Sell Najee Harris. Am I doing this right? No. We want to catch it on more towards the tail end of the career, not the beginning of the career, in my opinion.
Najee Harris is relatively old though, so
yeah, but he's got the usage is going to be
he
there
was
for
lightly
quite a bit of
used
years.
at Alabama. They were sharing the football. He only really was the primary back for 1 year, even though he played there forever. Right? Josh Jacobs was there. Damian Harris was there. So it's interesting. He's an interesting case in that he is older, but that's not to say you can't get out after year 3. Why not? You get 2 more years of Najee Harris. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Go win a championship with Najee Harris and get the fuck out.
Yeah, I'm
What's
not
the
selling
problem?
him.
What's the problem here?
Here's a question we have. At what point, from Bradley, my co-host here, at what point are you trading a 2022 first for a random 23 first?
I will happily take a second rounder. So if you want to give me a 2022 second rounder and a 2023 first rounder, deal. Done. Unless it's a top 3 pick. Right, unless it's a top 3 pick. Because I think in most drafts, it's going to go Hall, London, Burks, or Hall, Burks, London. That's going to be the consensus. I think the consensus is going to form around that. I'd like to see Wilson and Spiller make a run, maybe even Walker. If he tests well, Walker has the most to gain and lose at the combine. He has the most at stake because he doesn't have the receiving production to fortify his sort of rookie draft rating.
Yeah.
So he needs to have at least the Melvin Gordon measurables. Like he's on the Melvin Gordon career path. He was a monster producer in the Big Ten, not used in the passing game, but it's clear he can catch when used. Melvin Gordon has exceeded all expectations as a receiver, but it was critical that he hit that 75th percentile in athleticism to feel comfortable taking a guy strictly because we know he's a good runner with theoretical receiving skills. That's Kenneth Walker. Lots at stake. If Breece Hall is not quite as athletic, it's okay. If Isaiah Spiller's not quite as athletic as we'd like, that's okay. We've seen them catch plenty of passes, and we can feel good about drafting them in the first round. Kenneth Walker, we'll see.
We got another question. Another question here before we jump into some of our rankings, and this is actually further down our sheet, but I want to get it answered for Jose, who's a loyal subscriber to us. Is any rookies that you are high on this season? So further down the sheet, I ask you to sell me on a player that nobody is talking about. Why don't you go ahead and sell me on that player now?
Well, I'll sell you on 2 players. I can sell you on a lot of players, but Tyler Algier is my guy. He was my guy many, many, many moons ago with our first rookie mock. I don't know, November. I was just doing like my first run. You know this your maiden voyage into the college football stats. Where is everybody? November 3rd. Where are we at here? Who's leading the league in rushing and rushing touchdowns or college football? And there's Tyler Algier. And then I'm like, wait, this guy's 220 pounds? It's like, yeah. I'm like, wait, this guy's catching passes? He has over 30 catches? He's on pace for close to 30 catches, had 28 receptions, 10% target share, which is 77th percentile. It's good, right? And wait, this guy had a linebacker background. That's why he's a little bit older, because his first year was spent converting from linebacker. So he was so good as, a skill position player, showed it so clearly to the coaches that they decided they had to move him quickly to running back. And what scouts are saying, and people I trust are saying, is that he is going to be potentially the most impressive size speed athlete at the combine. Essentially, like this could very well be an Antonio Gibson situation. So if you're looking for this year's Antonio Gibson, a guy that has like versatility, who only really broke out in his final year, wasn't even used properly at all, right? So he was misused at linebacker. They switched him. And Antonio Gibson was misused at H-back, tight end, wherever they tried to play him at Memphis. And then in his final year, Algier, 1,600-plus yards, 23 touchdowns, 28 catches. But he was at BYU, and so you always got to be careful, right? Got to be careful that Zach Wilson, right? Not a lot of competition there. You can look good, but that's
ran
my
behind
guy.
an elite O-line, too. He had an elite O-line, which helps.
There's such a good O-line. That's the thing, right? So it's like, when you're great O-line against lesser competition, playing Coastal Carolina, I don't trust it, but I think that's where you need the combine. Now, I'm not saying he doesn't have as much at stake because he's not mocked that high. He's not like Kenneth Walker, where he's coming off like a Heisman run and everything else. No one thinks he's that good. But if you want me to peg that guy who's going to go at like the 304 and shock everybody when a team jumps up and gets him in the early third round, it's Tyler Algier. And it's probably going to be on the back of one of the more impressive combines when you size adjust.
So it's funny you mentioned the name because I have him higher than a lot of people do in my rankings. And you know me, I like to watch more film. I'll get down on analytics, don't get me wrong, but film is where I like to, because my eyes don't lie to me is what I like to say, right? And watching some of his tape and highlights, and I was looking back at it, and I kept thinking he's just such a natural runner, right? And he was very decisive. I'm looking at my notes right now. So just decisive, good vision. He hits the hole hard. Surprisingly, a pretty good pass blocker too. So like when I was like looking at him just from a natural running standpoint, like he just looked like he made running look easy, which is what I like to see in a running back, right? You don't like to see those type of running backs that are doing the stutter step dances behind the line. That doesn't translate well in the NFL. Like you might be able to get away with that crap in college, but if you're doing that crap in the NFL, you're going to get crushed in the backfield. You're going to lose yards.
Who did you see doing that this year in college that you're worried about?
In terms of like stutter stepping in the back?
Yeah, like who did you see? You were like, listen, man, you gotta be more decisive.
I have it on my notes here. I'm trying to think who it was. I'm a little behind on film right now, to be honest with you. Indecisive. Let me find it 1 second. There it is. Actually, Isaiah Spiller.
Yeah. Isaiah Spiller is polarizing.
So I thought he had good footwork, but it's also like working against him, right? Like he has such good footwork that he's back there dancing, and that can lead to negative yards. So like I like Spiller, but like that was one of the I literally has back here dances in backfield as notes underneath.
There you go. So is that why you have Walker ahead?
That is why I have Walker ahead.
There you go. So I think it's close. It's very close, but we're not. See, we're so conservative with our systems that we're not going to let Walker move ahead of Spiller until he shows some athleticism, because the receiving game is so big for fantasy.
Yes.
That we just need to see that. We need to see that. And Algier, like, if he had gone to the Senior Bowl, he might be ahead of Dameon Pierce and Rachaad White, but we now have a lot of information about Pierce and White based on what we saw at the Senior Bowl. That's very encouraging, right? They may be a bust, right? Could be busts, but there's a big six because we have Jerome Ford in the top six. And after that, because Jerome Ford was an Alabama recruit, don't forget. Mm-hmm. And every Alabama running back gets a very healthy opportunity to be good in the NFL. Look at Josh Jacobs. Look at Trent Richardson. You know, good, bad, like Derrick Henry wasn't used much in his first couple of years, but it wasn't like they gave up on him. Right? So Jerome Ford's going to get plenty of run in the NFL. Trust me. Especially, he's the other guy who could really impress at the combine. So the early signals from people that know things about speed and overall athleticism is watch out for Jerome Ford and watch out for Tyler Algier.
Yeah, I like Algier a lot. I need to do more scouting on Ford. I've done a little bit on him, and I liked what I've seen, but I haven't like dug in deep yet. It's all my. You
want to know a guy
list.
You should scout who's very interesting. He tested at the Nike camp, and so we now have the high school workouts. If you tested at the Nike camp, we have those workouts on Player Profiler. Incredible agility, ran a 4.54 in high school, and for some reason didn't get the scouting grade that he wanted, didn't get recruited. Who knows why? Ends up at UT San Antonio. Okay. And it's so rare. You can go back to, Aaron Jones, Austin Eckler, all these small school guys that ended up being good NFL players. They all played 4 years. All of them. It was just weird. Like when I heard that, someone told me, they're like, hey, Sincere McCormick's coming out early. I was like, oh, what? From UTSA? Like, yeah, he's coming out early. I remember, like, the greatest small school receiver of all time, Corey Davis, didn't come out early. Right? They just don't. They don't. There's no one encouraging them. But this guy had 1,400 yards in 2 consecutive seasons. One of them was the COVID year. And he's like, what more do I have to prove? Right?
And then they risk injury, and there's all sorts of. I mean, sure, go for it.
24 receptions as a freshman. I'm like, this is another guy, right? And he's compact, right? Not all 200-pound players are built the same. When you're 5'9", 200 pounds, that's hard to tackle. Okay, and we'll see how he measures, see the athleticism, but that's just someone to keep in mind. And we're highly in tune to the early declare players. More for wide receivers. It's more predictive for wide receivers. But even for running backs, it's a signal that he knows he's good. And enough scouts have whispered in his ear down there in San Antonio that it's time to go.
All right, next question I have. I was going to run through all of our rankings, but I think that for time's sakes, we can just talk as we're kind of going around and where we have players, because I'm sure names will be mentioned. So let's talk about, who do you think has the best chance? I know it's early. I know we don't know the landing spots, but who is just from a talent standpoint, best chance to finish Rookie of the Year?
It's got to be one of these receivers. Oh man, you know what it could? You know what's conceivable? It's conceivable Chris Olave is Rookie of the Year because he lands in the perfect spot in the late first round on a contender, and he has just more visibility, and he's already a sort of complete player, right? He's a technician who is just a master separator. And so he's already sort of a fully formed professional, came back for an extra year just because he loved playing in college. He didn't think he was ready, whatever. Travis Etienne admitted this recently in an interview. He said, listen, I knew I wasn't ready for the lifestyle, period. And I liked playing football at Clemson with my buddy Trevor Lawrence. So, I mean, why would you be mad at me for staying in school? Like, why not? Now, I would tell him that, Travis, you need to get to your second contract as soon as possible, and you made a grave error, but who the hell am I, right? You could get hurt. Oh, that happened. But anyway, I'm not his agent, okay? So Chris Olave is interesting in that seniors generally underperform expectations in the NFL. You want to be an early declare, but they do have a higher likelihood of performing well in their their rookie year because they're more ready, right? They've had an extra year of seasoning and development, so it makes sense that it would be easier for a senior to come in, feel ready, and exceed expectations right away. So I could see that happening, where you see this happen where their rookie year was their best season, right? That would be so. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Chris Olave came into the NFL and his best year was his rookie year. That would make a lot of sense because he's going to end up on some team that has is drafting in the late 20s probably. That's where he's going to go.
And where do you have him in your rookie wide receiver rankings?
WR4.
Ooh, okay.
I don't really see any argument there. I don't see any wiggle room, actually. I know that there's some debate, sure, between lots of players, whether you but I don't see much debate. I mean, I don't see how you're going to justify moving Pickens ahead of Olave. That would be difficult to do. Jamison Williams, I've seen moved ahead of Olave. Jamison Williams isn't even going to play in September. He tore his ACL in January.
You might start this on the pup.
He's going to be on the pup.
Yep.
He's not going to have any time in training camp or preseason to develop his game or rapport with his quarterback. He's going to be way behind coming off the pup. He could experience a setback. His whole year could be washed out.
Well, especially with his type of skill set, right? Fast as fuck is what I like to say, right? He's uncatchable speed. Like you are reliant on that ACL. So like,
what are you doing?
With you. Yeah,
what are you doing moving that guy up? That's the new thing right now, is to just ignore ACL tears.
You only do that with Frank Gore. Like you can't do that with anyone else.
Take Odell Beckham Jr. in best ball, right? Yeah, maybe if you make it to the tournament and then you have leverage on the field, like Odell comes back and he's what he was in the playoffs, awesome, right? Congrats. You don't even have that kind of case to be made with Jamison Williams. Get out of here. Get out of because again, it's the goddamn helmet, bro. It's this goddamn helmet. There's only one player in my lifetime, in my entire history in this business, with that helmet who was underrated by NFL draft experts and fantasy gamers. Do you know his name?
No, shoot it.
Mac Jones. Shockingly, right? The guy that looks like Mr. Alabama, right? Mr. Alabama just happened to be the one guy that was underrated. Everyone else from that school, from O.J. Howard on down, has been overrated.
Don't get me started on Mac Jones. I'm still pissed off about that.
And you're gonna take the guy who isn't gonna play? What are you doing, man?
Yeah, there's still talk about him going, middle to late round 1 in drafts.
It's insane.
Yeah.
And if that happens, fine. We'll move him up. It's a Bayesian process. If he goes 16 overall, we'll move him up, right? If he goes to the Chargers, we'll move him up. Yeah. Long term with Herbert, yeah.
Here's a fun game. Let's name 2 teams who you think, or you name a team, I'll name a team who you think is going to be, that team that's going to move him up and take him.
Let me pull up the draft order, but I'll say yeah, I say the Chargers. I think the Chargers have less wide receiver depth than they're given credit for, just because they have 2 good receivers. They also know that right after that, you're suddenly at Jalen Guyton, and you're putting a lot of faith in Josh Palmer breaking out, right? 3rd round pick that wasn't particularly productive. That's not a good idea. So I love the Chargers as a surprise team to take a receiver, because they're also stocked everywhere else. You got to remember, this is why the Bills are going to be a surprise wide receiver team. And it's going to crush these Gabriel Davis truthers. They're going to get crushed because they're going to be, what? How? They took Burks? That's going to absolutely eviscerate. They could move up for Burks. Imagine that one. The Bills moving up for Burks. This is all in play because they have no weaknesses. Have you seen their defense DVOA? And
defense is good. And their running back, I think, is their biggest need. I mean, Singletary looked like he did well down the stretch, but I still think they addressed running back either through free agency, like Leonard Fournette to be like the perfect landing spot for a free agent in Buffalo, in my opinion.
Of course, but they could still go running back in the 3rd round. There's going to be a bunch of these running backs available in the 3rd round. Devin Singletary is absolutely not safe. If Devin Singletary looks up and he's competing for touches with Tyler Algier in camp and preseason, he's going to realize very quickly, let's put it this way. They threw my boy Breida out there. My opportunity share is not going to look like what it did in the playoffs.
They threw Breida out there, and for crying out loud, was the leading back for like a game and a half. And then, so if you have someone like Matt Breida stealing touches from you, your job's not safe, right? You're going to be replaced.
He's not necessarily going to be replaced. He's just not going to have that role that you could theoretically extrapolate from week 17, week 18 in the playoffs, where he was an actual bell cow and super productive. I don't think that's him longer term. I don't think that's him. I think that if I were an NFL team, I would rather see him in like a James White role. I think that's what he is. But they want to use him between the tackles. I think that's misusing him. They just don't have anybody.
They don't.
Right? They don't have anybody. So you know what I would say to that? You know what I'd say to that? Billy, I would say, why don't you just not run up the middle then? If you don't have the personnel,
it's just run jet sweeps all day.
Fuck that play call to hell.
We're just going to QB sneak up the middle. Everything else is jet sweeps.
Oh, and don't get me started with their designed runs, okay? Their designed runs trying to get Josh Allen hurt in the playoffs and try to, eke out 2 yards on the sideline while he pulls a hamstring. What are you doing? You have the option of letting him drop back and have a total, dealer's choice situation, right?
Yep.
Where I can either throw here, I could throw there, I could throw there, or I could pull it down and run if it's not there. That's any drop back is so much better than these goddamn design runs that they call to get Lamar Jackson hurt. It's going to get Josh Allen hurt. You watch.
I understand that you're trying to make plays. You're trying to extend the drive. It's do or die. But at the same time, like when you are the franchise, like you remove Josh Allen from that equation, and this team is nothing in comparison to what it is today, right? So I understand the design runs. Do I agree with them? No. Is it going to be extending a play to make your Super Bowl run? Okay, I'll do it, but I'm not going to be doing it on like second down, right? Or I'm going to be doing it in very specific moments. So I agree. It's dangerous, but you know, if the game's on the line to go to championship, I'm doing it, but not in other scenarios.
I have a question for you. So
Go for it.
There's going to be a bunch of receivers drafted in the 20s, right? Garrett Wilson is my favorite. That's probably going to go in the back half of the first round. He might move up, but what's going to happen is Treylon Burks is going to have an impressive combine, and he's currently being mocked in the early 20s. Yep. We have an NFL draft index where we take all the mock drafts and we index them, and you can see where these guys are supposed to go. And it's part of our Dynasty Deluxe package to prepare Dynasty gamers for their rookie draft. And it's interesting to see that Burks is not the first wide receiver taken in these mocks. It's actually Drake London.
I like Drake London.
But that could change if he's a better athlete. You could see suddenly everyone putting the pieces together like, wait, this guy's elite. This guy's, in a place that very few wide receivers get to in prospect modeling. So you could see him moving up into the top 10 or at least the top 15, and then that would therefore displace a Garrett Wilson, push him down a touch. Jameson Williams, these guys getting into the 20s. Chris Olave, as we talked about.
Sneak up.
Imagine if the Arizona Cardinals don't extend Christian Kirk. He's an unrestricted free agent.
He's double dating with Josh Allen.
Josh
Allen. Dinner over there.
These Gabriel Davis people, they're the movie airplane. They're in the cockpit and just sweat. Like, because they're like, they don't want to trade him now. You should be trading him. Let it go. Get out.
I was the biggest Gabriel Davis stan last year when he was going in around 13, 14. And it hit late. It didn't happen. Okay. We didn't waste a bunch of draft capital. But now that people are taking him in 5th, 6th, 7th round draft picks, get the fuck out of here.
Bank, dude. You know how you're screaming at the television with these game shows? And they're like, are you going to spin again? You're like, bank.
Cash
like,
out.
We're spinning again. You're like, oh my God. And like, everybody goes crazy. And you're at home going, no. This is like, don't spin the wheel, Gabriel Davis people. Please, just get out. They could sign, listen to this. They could sign Christian Kirk and then draft Chris Olave. I mean, that would just be a disaster. Nor even better, they could Kirk and then Jameson Williams. I mean, these are all possibilities.
They could sign Kirk and then keep Cole Beasley for crying out loud, even something as simple as that. And it would still hurt Gabriel Davis.
You think about this player, okay? He was supposed to play in the Senior Bowl, okay? At the last minute, enough scouts whispered in his ear, you're a first-round pick.
I'll do it.
He decided to go to the Senior Bowl, but just to interview. Do you know who I'm talking about?
No.
Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, okay.
That was Brandon Ayuk. And then Brandon Ayuk went late first to the 49ers. Who was that guy this year? Jahan Dotson. So Jahan Dotson was supposed to play. And at the last minute, he decided, no. Somebody told him he's a first-round pick. Enough people told his agent, you're going in the first round. And so that's the Bills again. Okay? So if they sign a free agent, when there's a lot, have you seen this free agent class?
Yeah, there's a lot.
It could be one of the best free agent classes at wide receiver ever. I mean, when you go, the top, forget the top 10. Outside the top 10, you have Crowder, A.J. Green, Russell Gage, Braxton Berrios. I mean, Sammy Watkins, he's washed. But you also have guys like Zay Jones, Cedric Wilson, interesting players.
Yeah.
Guys that have flashed. Byron Pringle, Isaiah McKenzie. you have some guys that flash. So, I mean, there's going to be a lot of wide receivers moving around. And so what if the Bills take a shot, just take a flyer, just in case on Will Fuller, and then they draft Dotson? And then you have...
There's so many things. If I'm the Bills, though, like, I'd probably just keep Isaiah McKenzie. Like, he looked good. The cost is going to be cheap.
They will.
I think so, too.
So what ends up happening, these mid-tier free agent wide receivers, they so often re-sign because it's a bird in the hand situation. The teams know what they have. That's why Cedric Wilson's not going
anywhere. And the
anywhere.
player knows what they're in.
Yeah, Cedric Wilson's not going anywhere.
No, I don't think so either.
I'll tell you that. He's technically a free agent.
No, he's staying in Dallas.
Just like Zay Jones isn't going anywhere. Like, Zay Jones is staying in Las Vegas. Like, they know what they have. They saw this guy suddenly averaging 9 targets in the second half per game, right? Russell Gage is probably staying in Atlanta. No other team will appreciate them unless that team has seen them day in, day out, especially if they've either washed out other places or they were late-round picks. Even more likely, like Cedric Wilson, even more likely Isaiah McKenzie just to stay put. It's oftentimes these guys that were first-round picks and didn't necessarily meet expectations. They're the ones that are most often on the move. That's the Sammy Watkins corollary.
Yep, the Corey Davises of the world.
Yeah, they're on the move. Yeah, they're on the move because there's some team whose scouting department had them ranked high and can't believe they're available.
Well, let's do one more question. Let's hop in a draft here together. We can talk ADP as we're drafting. How did you rank these wide receivers over a 3-year arc? Gabe Davis, Josh Palmer, and Nico Collins.
Well, as of right now, it's clearly Gabriel Davis. Clearly. He's still had a 4-touchdown game. Okay? Let's be clear. Like, their cost isn't even close to one another. Okay? So I would absolutely prefer Gabriel Davis. I just know I can get a lot more in trade for him than I can those other guys. The more interesting question is this Josh Palmer versus Nico Collins. And Josh Palmer has Justin Herbert. Okay?
Yep.
And Keenan Allen is 30. Mike Williams is past the age apex, or he's right at it. And Josh Palmer flashed. He was efficient. Kind of. Not really. But at least he was squeezing the football at a high catch rate at the very least. And you could tell that they trusted him. At the end of the year, he started running more routes. His usage started going up. And he flashed. Like, he flashed more than Terrace Marshall did. You could argue he had a more successful year than Rondale Moore, who has the lowest target depth in the history of recorded air yards. So, yeah, I would go Josh Palmer over Nico Collins. Nico Collins looks the part of an alpha in the league. However, that guy isn't necessarily what NFL teams covet. Now, I had Drew Osenchuk on my show, the Mind of Mansion show, the podcast, a couple days ago, and he mentioned that he thinks that it's possible that the league is overcorrected, that there was an overappreciation for the Julio Jones, Demaryius Thomas archetype, and then that corrected, and now it's more Cooper Kupp, Stephon Diggs, slot flankers, and that's the new archetype. And I get it. Like, I know why in a more spread style attack, those guys are going to be the ones getting separation. They're going to get all the targets, and it makes sense.
More creative design plays.
But it's possible that there's been an overcorrection and that the Burks and the Londons, they're going to come in and remind everybody why you also want to be big and fast and good, and that's awesome, right? Like, DK Metcalf's still great. So it's not like those guys stink. Maybe just had a fallow period for players that look like that, and the NFL might have overvalued some and talked themselves into some players that had flaws because they had that size. They overcorrect, and suddenly there's some value there where maybe Burks is a value. Maybe London's a value, but the mocks I'm seeing, man, London looks like he's going top 10.
I'm going to agree with your take, but I'm going to do a little flop between Palmer and Nico Collins simply because I think Mike Will is going to stay inside the Chargers. I think that Brandon Cooks could be on the move here for the Texans, which would, catapult Nico Collins into a every down role. And in a 3-year stretch, hard to compete on an every down role if you're the wide receiver 3 or 4 on your offense, whether that's Josh Palmer or even, Gabe Davis could end up in that situation if they draft somebody and sign a free agent. So Nico Collins for me is going to be 2 over Palmer. I like Palmer more as a talent wise, but I think in terms of just pure necessity and moves during free agency, I'm going to put Nico ahead of Palmer.
I'm looking at Nico Collins' advanced metrics on playerprofiler.com. There's not a lot there to get excited about. You can't really look at any like fantasy point related metrics because he only had 1 touchdown, so that ruins it.
And he was hurt.
So there's really not a lot there. He came out as a senior. He had a sub 50 percentile dominator rating. It was at Michigan, so you have the Harbaugh handicap, right? All these guys are probably better than they looked at Michigan. Donovan Peoples-Jones is the best example of that. Nico did break out early. He is athletic, so I understand chasing that proper outside clasher. I just, at this point, until the NFL shows me that these quarterbacks that keep coming into the league having to see separation before they'll unleash the football, it's a different ball game, man. I mean,
yeah.
The best example, the guy that was crippled by this 100% was Marcus Mariota. Simply could not refuse to release the ball unless he saw separation like right in front of his face.
So funny that him and Derek Carr are the same way and they're on the same team.
It's crazy, right? They're the same guy. And then now, we're trying to, is Tua going to break free of that? We'll see. So that's definitely an archetype, right?
Yep.
And some players, they do that out of as a survival device, like Baker Mayfield. He stinks at throwing outside, so he keeps it in the middle of the field, keeps it to these guys that are getting separation. Okay, but you're capped, man. Your ceiling's capped.
Yeah.
Nico Collins not only needs less target competition, maybe Brandon Cooks leaves, but also needs to make sure his quarterback is willing throw the ball to the outside. If his quarterback was Deshaun Watson, now we're talking, right?
Yeah, a little different.
That's fearless. He's fearless to the outside. That's why he's so good. Davis Mills, we'll see. I don't like his chances. If I had to peg Nico Collins' chances, sub 500 yards in his rookie year with very little competition for that number 2 wide receiver chair, like what? You couldn't just crush Chris Conley in that competition, bro. So let's give you a percentage. I think there's probably a 21% chance that Nico Collins is a 1,000-yard season. I think it's higher with Palmer ever.
Yeah, I don't like the odds on either of them, honestly.
I don't like it. I don't like the chances. But with Herbert and, a player like Josh Palmer that comes out of nowhere and gets that draft capital, there's typically something there that the scouts are seeing that we're not.
Well, I think he was drafted to replace Mike Williams, and then Mike Williams had a pretty damn good year.
Yeah,
in that
but I mean,
Lombardi
I
system.
kind of fall back on the Deontay Johnson corollary with that, in that no one saw Deontay Johnson getting day 2 capital. None of the mockers did. No metrics people did, right? Wasn't a great athlete. Just basically, unless you're following the special teams production very closely, like we are with the Breakout Finder, you're not really going to identify that guy as being much. Like Amir Smith-Marset was a great guy who we had top 10 in the Breakout Finder last year, and be like, "Boy, what are you doing?" I'm like, well, watch. If he gets an opportunity, sure enough, final game of the year, 100 yards. Amir Smith-Marset.
So this was a question actually my co-host wanted me to ask you. Was your take on Amir Smith-Marset? And I think you just said what your take was on it. You like talent.
Him. Oh, I like him. I like him. And watch him supplant KJ Osborne. I think he's a better player than KJ Osborne. Just didn't have the extra year of experience. Josh Palmer, by the way, I knew this. I just had to look it up specifically on Player Profiler. Josh Palmer, number 1 in the league in contested catch rate, 8 for 8.
Pretty damn good.
So he has strong hands. He's strong at the catch point, and he has the quarterback. I'll take that over Nico. But again, we're talking about, what are we talking about here? We're talking about razor-thin margins of rankings where one guy might be wide receiver 69, the other guy's wide receiver 73. What the hell are we talking about? And I'm talking about, when I'm talking about rankings, we have our our rookies mixed in
Yeah.
already with the veterans. So,
Well, do you have time for a draft? You want to hop in a draft here?
yeah, let's go.
All right. Well, let me know when you get the big board pulled up before you hit enter. Let me know. If you guys are watching, please wait till we're both in the same room before you enter so we can make sure that we can talk about the room that we're in.
Oh, shit, dude. I didn't know we were both going to be in the room at the same time.
Yeah, we got to enter.
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, okay. All right. I'll enter then, and we can just talk as it's going.
Yeah. That's my bad.
You can't draft in Connecticut?
No.
Well, that's lame.
No, I was drafting. I did a draft, an invite draft when I was in Rhode Island.
Yeah.
I could draft when I was in Florida. If I start a draft in Massachusetts when I'm like going to the weed store or whatever, then I can draft. And so I can draft in Connecticut as long as I start the draft. Trust me, man, I love Underdog. And I'm finding all different ways to work the system to make sure I can draft.
That's hilarious. All right.
But
Well,
I think we should just draft together.
Let's just build a team together.
Let's just build a team together.
I like it.
I'm looking at your board right now. I'm loving this.
Okay. We got it up. Draft starting right now. We are at the 8 hole. I think this is like 30 or 40 I've done now. I've only had 2 draft picks in the top 5. Everything has been the second half. So
are you going to take McCaffrey at the 101 if you had it?
I've been taking JT. I think just because McCaffrey I have seen slip. I've seen him slip as far down as 1.6, 1.5, to where I feel like if you have the 1.1 and if you want JT, you're going to have to do it from an exposure standpoint and from just a diversification. Building your
from
portfolio.
An exposure standpoint, that makes sense, actually.
Yeah.
If you're going to be a volume drafter, this is where you have volume drafters versus more sort of infrequent drafters. Volume drafters, you're going to want to pay attention to that.
Yeah, let me change the screen so people can't see my queue. Everyone, I get sniped all the time when I'm streaming. Here we go. So from a volume,
protecting your hand
all the time, man.
Dude, you're just like looking at under the cards, like who we got.
So I'll list off. So as we go, you'll see the players that come up, and then I'll list like who I have in the queues and who's around. So because you can't see the players now, I guess I can just pull it up. Can I pull them both up? Let's see.
It's hard to imagine going running back, but it's possible.
We're gonna do it this way, so that way I can swap back and forth fast. So you can do it. Share screen. Entire.
I'm sorry,
screen.
I'm making you improvise.
Nope, but now I can go back and forth fast. Okay, we're good. All right, I just won't have any of the queue right now. We're good. So I'm out on Derrick Henry this year. I know he's the big dog. I have a joke, and it's my new rule. Like if he's your 5th ranked running back, you can't take him till the running back 10's off the board because you have to add 1 screw for every draft pick. So that's the rule for me. You want me to zoom in for you?
Don't we just want Devontae Adams? What are we worried about?
Yeah, for me, it's either Adams or Justin Jefferson. I think the only thing is Adams for me would be, is he going to be tied with Rodgers? I think he is, right? I'm banking on him that he's going to be.
I mean, what are we worried about, really? He's not going to be tied to Rodgers.
Yeah, I have him. I have Justin Jefferson, Devontae Adams like neck and neck. It doesn't even matter.
We knew Jefferson was going. We're taking Adams.
There we go. Adams is easy.
That's easy.
Yep.
That's easy money. This is deja vu from last year. I remember this. This was last year.
My boy though is going way too high in drafts. I'm not going to have much Deebo Samuel.
I know you're not getting heavy Deebo. I did a TikTok at Player Profiler on TikTok. I did a fade Deebo. It hurt my soul to do it. Such a good player.
I know I love him, but like, now you are drafting him and
look at that ADP. That's the one.
Yeah, I've been seeing him go lately at like 110 to like 2-1. Like
higher injury risk as a running back. Yep. Unsustainable rushing production and touchdown rate. Unknown quarterback and quarterback volume. Pass attempts are.
Well, and that's the thing too. Trey Lance is going to come in.
What are you doing drafting Deebo here?
And now Trey Lance is going to come in and he's going to vulture goal line carries as well. So
it's awful. The carries are at risk. The targets are at risk. The touchdowns are impossible, and the injury is likely. The way they're using him so irresponsibly on every level, he's a stay away. And I hate to say it. It hurts to say it.
So we have one of our listeners is pick 11, so we got to be mindful of the sniping.
Oh, Jesus, the sniping.
Someone else said Tyreek.
What are we doing here in the second round? We're just going to come back to us, a couple more picks.
Yep. There is 3 names I really like here coming up. And
it's hard to imagine Diggs being available. That's not going to happen.
Yeah, Diggs slides sometimes, though. That's the thing in these drafts. Like, people are looking at, the Gabe Davis monster, and Diggs was, wasn't as productive last year. I mean, and I talked about this all year in the beginning of last year, like in offseason, like April, May, when I was doing projections for teams. Stephon Diggs was not going to have the production that he had in 2020. It took 2 MVP caliber seasons for him to reach that caliber. It was not going to repeat. So he had a down year last year compared to 2020. Yes, because that's like asking Deebo Samuel to repeat the year he just had, or asking Cooper Kupp to repeat the year they just had. It's not going to fucking happen.
We're going to get him.
Yeah, I watch. He's going to snipe us. This guy's probably in the call. That's okay. I'm good with 3 names here still.
We're going to get him.
There he is.
We got him.
So
holy shit.
I like Diggs. You want Diggs?
You think?
It was either Diggs or A.J. Brown there for me.
This is so deja vu, dude. This is deja vu, but imagine you were drafting at the 111 last year. You were going Adams Diggs.
Yep, exactly.
Or like maybe Eckler Diggs, whatever, right? Just that was the move. So deja vu-y. And maybe hope someone sniped you on Ridley so you didn't draft him.
My co-host is drafting with us here. He's in the 5 hole.
Hey, Bradley. Right, we need to consider.
Oh, he just got sniped. he had Swift in his queue. I guarantee it.
Of course he did. He's a smart man. Are we going to be trying to get Andrews here?
He's not going to make it back to us. There's no way.
Okay. Just making sure.
Andrews is going to go either end of this turn right here or the latest, like 3-1, 3-2. I have not seen him slip past 3-2 yet.
He's not going to make it. You're right.
No, absolutely not.
Kyle Pitts?
I'm fine with Pitts. I think this production. I mean, I was down on him last year. His price is pretty similar, but he's only going to get better, and he's going to remain to be the top option in this passing game. He should see I still call it positive regression, touchdown regression, right? And that doesn't matter. Someone just took
he's
him. He's going
to have a positive reversion to the mean on the touchdowns, dude.
Someone
this is going to be. He's very.
Someone
exciting.
just took him over
like
Andrews.
Upside? I mean, Andrews could be there now that I'm like, no, he's not. I hate doing this to myself. I hate thinking maybe that there's a crazy slippage that could happen. Never happens, dude. It never happens.
No, he won't. He won't make it past Bradley.
I hate doing that. I hate seeing this Andrews and like it. There it goes. Finally, God, put us out. Put just or we could wait and see if Waller falls to the 4th round. Would you rather do that and go Akers?
I've been pretty keen on this. I call it the 0 tight end build, like just waiting until super late to grab a tight end because I think there's a lot of value at the position, especially
sure,
in half.
I'm in. Let's do it. Let's
PPR.
go Akers. Let's go Akers.
Yeah, I like Akers if he's there. I guess I'm throwing him the queue. Let everyone
Walter
see it,
Picks, please don't do this. He has 2 running backs. Walter Picks has 2 running backs.
NF42.
NF42 is the big threat. NF42, if you're out there, please not. Don't do it. Please. NF42.
Somebody asked
let us have
second.
Akers.
Hey! Oh, we got him. We got him.
Dude, this draft is going really well.
Yeah, I'll take it.
Oh my God. We haven't got sniped once.
Nope.
And you might say, oh, you're jinxing yourself. It doesn't matter, dude. Not getting sniped in the first 3 rounds is what it's all about.
Yeah, getting your guy. I was actually.
You want to snipe me in round 10? Go ahead.
I was actually hoping Antonio Gibson would slip that far to us. Like, I love Antonio Gibson.
Oh.
I haven't seen him slip that far, but he has been having this trend of falling down the 3rd round now, where he was going in that like late 2nd pretty consistently. And
that's the guy. He has the 20+ point upside, but so does Akers.
So does Akers. My concern with Akers is the same concern I had last year with Akers is McVay loves Darrell Henderson, and they're going to get him involved whether Akers is on the field or not on the field. And when both are healthy, we have seen them utilize this hot hand approach with these backs. And Akers, I think, is the more dynamic
Akers is
player.
too undoubtable. It's not happening. He's too undeniable and undoubtable. And yes, I think there's going to be this situational role for Henderson, but don't forget, Henderson's going to have a hamstring. He's going to have a concussion. He's going to have a shoulder.
Ankle injuries.
Come on. Right. Don't worry about it. Come on. He'll be fine.
I look at what, and so Larky and I had this big debate last year, and it was more so me not being okay with Akers going in round 1, right? And this was pre-Akers injury. Now, after seeing the Akers recovery timeline, and like the dude is fucking Wolverine, like you don't heal that fast unless you're a superhero. Like it's plain and simple. And he comes out 6 months removed from an Achilles tear and is running 13, 17 times a game. Like it's unprecedented, number one, but it's amazing. And so that alone for me, like he moved up my rankings a little bit just because of his, like, to me, that's more drive motivated, right? It's the hunger to get back on the field. And you can't teach that.
You can't teach a lot of things he does well. And I love that he was underwhelming in the big game. So, just imagine what his ADP would be had he shredded the Super Bowl, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. If he did what Leonard Fournette did the year prior in the Super Bowl, what would his ADP be?
So that's the thing I was about to say. Prior to Super Bowl, he was going at round 1, 110 to like 2-1. He was going in that 1-2 turn again. He had that bad game. Henderson came in and was playing more than people expected. Boom. He's dropped to the end of the second round. Kind of that trend started just following, and now he's slipping into the middle of the third.
Akers is a good receiver also. That's something that needs to be reminded.
So my go-to has been Mike Evans. I don't really care who the quarterback is. I think he's good for 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns every year.
Over Ridley? Ridley's got more upside.
Ridley has more upside, but he also has more questions for me.
A lot more questions.
A lot more questions. How is he going to play the full year?
There's also a positive outcome.
We have 5 seconds. Pick
if Godwin pick him? Evans.
Okay, Evans.
What if Godwin goes to Jacksonville?
So that's the thing. Is like if Godwin leaves, well, if he doesn't leave, he had the late injury anyways. He's going to miss a few games at the minimum, right?
He's going to start the year on the pop.
I think so too, but let's just say he has some Cam Akers recovery timeline, right? And he's back faster than we expect him to. And he ends up staying. He's not going to be 100%. They're going to lean more on Mike Evans. Mike Evans is the bigger body. If someone like Jameis Winston comes back and we have that connection again, what did Winston like to do? He likes to throw down the field.
If he gets Winston back and no Godwin, hello.
You're talking about, 1,500 yards and double-digit touchdowns again.
So I guess you could argue then, based on the asymmetrical upside, Evans has what Ridley has for upside.
Without the negative,
without the risk.
Without the risk.
Wow, that was cold fusion we just pulled off in that case. It was like amazing. No risk of a meltdown. He's only one of the most consistent receivers of all time. That's it. That's all.
So someone says, I don't hit Akers round 3 best ball dynasty. I kind of went out.
Is there any thought of quarterback here, or are we going ETN?
I'm good. I love ETN. I don't think he'll make it past Bradley here at 5. Bradley been taking him.
ETN's gone.
Oh, he's gone. Okay,
Lamar's gone. Damn it.
Yeah,
Murray's interesting, although it's we're gonna take him at ADP.
Yeah.
There's not a lot of other ones. People you could get super excited about.
No, although our stacks outside Rodgers is gone out. You could wait and take a Stafford later and kind of stack with Akers and grab another piece. Like
someone took Rodgers already?
No, I was saying like for stacking purposes.
Oh, because Allen's gone.
Correct. Yeah, Allen's gone. You have
you can still take Jameis in the last round.
Yeah, we don't know who the hell is going to be the quarterback. We're assuming it's Jameis. I'd like to see Gardner Minshew too, honestly. Like that would fit.
You don't want to go Michael Thomas either. You don't want that risk, right?
I've been remaining neutral on Michael Thomas just because you look at this wide receiver core and how decimated it was last year, and they're in cap space issues. They're not going to be able to bring anyone in. He's going to have a role regardless. I look at his drive to me. Okay, we're on the clock. I'm okay with Michael Thomas. I think he's going to have a necessity role. I'm
Fuck
okay
it,
with
take Breece Hall.
Okay, I like it. I like Breece Hall a lot.
Yeah, let's take Breece Hall. I like, see, just your tone of voice was just I was like, enough.
Yeah,
your
so
tone
it goes
was
back
just,
to the
you
hunger.
you were trying to be, gracious as a host. I've been in your chair doing one of these underdog drafts. They're amazing. And it's like, you don't want to be super combative. You don't want to be rude to the guest.
Oh, if he fucking sucks, I'm gonna tell you he fucking sucks.
I mean, I know, no, I'm just saying it's the general tendency is that, you were trying to be a gracious individual because you are a gracious individual. But I heard it in your voice. It's not fucking happening, bro.
It wasn't a sexy pick for me, right?
Like, it wasn't sexy. Breece Hall is sexy.
Breece Hall sexy. Yeah.
Breece Hall sexy. Because all he needs to do for that asymmetrical upside is run like a 4.48, and it's so on.
Yeah.
That's all it is. It's one number.
You probably get away with 4.5 flat even.
I'm just saying 4.48. I would be very. That's like a Dalvin Cook, Cam Akers. That's all we need. That's all we need. 5th round. That's all we need.
Let me pull up the board for everybody here so they can see as we're going, and we're not. And then once we make our next pick, I want to go through and just kind of update the audio listeners, so everyone on RSS of the draft board, because they're just trying to listen in as we're talking. I'll run through round 1 real quick for them. Christian McCaffrey was actually the 101, JT 102, Cooper Kupp 103, followed by Jamar Chase, Austin Eckler, and Derrick Henry at the 106, Justin Jefferson 107. We took Devontae Adams at 108, Najee 109, Dalvin Cook 110, Tyreek Hill 111, and then Deebo Samuel. Yeah, that's enough ones. Deebo Samuel look at that, end of round 1. Deebo Samuel. That's what we're talking about.
People are crazy.
People are crazy. And
All due respect.
Crazy
all due
Deebo.
respect. All due respect. All due respect. All due respect. That guy's crazy. Are we considering quarterback ever?
Is that a position?
I don't know. I mean, I see Dak there.
I'm fine with Dak here. I like Dak. There's another quarterback I like late, but I would say as a second quarterback. I like Dak here. I'm not really crazy. The only other positional player I like here is Marquise Brown. But I like Dak. Do you want a quarterback?
I don't know. It's just tough. It's just on underdog, half PPR, the quarterbacks have a disproportionate value.
I took
Dak Prescott is going to be good.
I think so too.
Don't you know he's going to be good this year?
And that opens up
good.
Late
and we can also take Cedric Wilson late.
I was going to say Cedric Wilson. We can look at Schultz late. It opens up some alternative builds down the road.
Yeah. So we can do little Wilson action, and then it's fun. All right. When do you start looking at tight end?
Okay, great. This is actually one of my questions. So if I'm not grabbing somebody like a Travis Kelce, a Kyle Pitts, or Mark Andrews, I'm waiting at the position just because I think that you can find value at the position every single year. I mean, you look at Darren Waller, for instance, was a 20-round pick a couple years ago. You look at somebody like Dawson Knox, who was going undrafted in a lot of these drafts. Those are the type of players who I'm looking at trying to hit in these best ball drafts simply for upside from a league winning and tournament standpoint. Taking my draft capital, utilizing it at positions that are more scarce, like the running back position, or I'm going upside wide receivers, and then I'm waiting on my tight end position. That's if I'm not getting.
So that means you want to take Fournette here.
We could. Yep. Fournette's on the table for me because we already have our quarterback. And that's what I like to do with my second quarterback too. Like I usually like to wait on second quarterback if I get somebody like the top 7 quarterback.
That's why you wanted Dak there. I mean, I know Marquise Brown was attractive.
Yep.
And it's crazy to look at Marquise Brown's numbers. He hasn't put up big fantasy numbers, but the targets have been extraordinary for a player that's 160 pounds.
He was wide receiver 5 the first 6 weeks last year.
He was great with Lamar Jackson, but the risk is that can Lamar Jackson really support 3 good receivers?
No, the volume isn't there.
I just don't see it. And he is ideally more of a situational field stretcher. And I think Rashad Bateman's going to be healthy and he's going to out-target him. That's what I expect to happen. It might not, but that's the risk of taking a wide receiver that early. And we already have Adams, Diggs, and Evans.
Yep.
So what I like is you having that nucleus of super elite wide receivers, and then you just stockpile wide receivers late. Like we're going to load
100%.
up. Obviously, we're going to load up on wide receiver. Like there's hopefully maybe we have more wide receivers than anybody.
Yeah.
But the only way you can get away with that, we could do a 4 running back build if we go Fournette.
You could do
and then you can do a 2 quarterback build if you go Prescott with a decent quarterback, and then it hurts to let some of these nice wide receivers go by.
Well, we just got sniped on Fournette.
You're doing it for the build.
So we just got sniped on Fournette. The other one I could think about doing here, I normally like to wait on tight end, but we could stack Dawson Knox with Stephon Diggs.
You want to go Rodgers and just get our quarterbacks done?
We could go Rodgers, or we could go Jalen Hurts for rushing upside since we have.
Well, you don't want to stack Adams?
Yeah, we could stack Adams. Just pray they stay together. Let's do it. I think they stay together. I do, but my only fear is like Rodgers over here sending those emotional messages out has me a little on my kind of back a little bit. Just kind of.
We're trying to win, dude.
We are trying to win.
We're trying to win.
If he announces he's staying with the Packers, Devontae Adams signed.
We got him at ADP, didn't we? Didn't we get him at ADP?
Yeah, we got him at ADP.
We didn't reach, right?
Nope, no reach. And
Wasn't
now we're down to
the MVP
position.
of the league
Twice. 2 years in a row.
Don't we have Adams?
He's kind of good at football.
I think it's fine.
I think it's fine too. And this is what happened last year, right? And this is where these monster teams were built. It's people who had these, Christian McCaffrey in the beginning of the year, it looked so good, but these Christian McCaffrey, Devontae Adams teams, right? It was
he was going at
because he was going at that 2-3 turn because of the uncertainty.
So this is fine.
Yep.
This is fine. We got him. Well, we got him later than ADP. His ADP was 77. We got him 82.
Yeah, we got him. That's around ADP. Yeah.
Yeah, we're fine. No, 82 ADP. Oh, we got him at 77 as ADP. Okay, so we took him 5. Okay. I understand. But it doesn't matter. We came into this thinking 2 quarterback build.
Yep.
Right? And if you're going to go 2 quarterback build, you don't. Yes, it's tricky because you want to thread the needle with that second quarterback. Maybe get a guy you like, but maybe not too risky. It's not that easy.
Yeah,
getting it over with Rodgers because there was no one there.
No, if Leonard Fournette was there, I think we would definitely
would have gone Fournette.
Yeah, and then at that point,
do we go Michael Carter here or do we go running? What are we doing here? We're on the clock in a minute.
Yeah, so I would say either we go. I like Michael. Did Michael Carter just go? No, Michael Carter's gone. Is he gone? I don't see him anywhere.
Probably.
Yeah, Carter's gone. So I could go one of 2 ways. I could either say we go Dawson Knox and stack with Diggs, or we take somebody like Penny and shoot for upside.
Penny or Walker?
I'd be a little hesitant with 2 rookie running backs on the same team.
Why?
Going a 4 running back build?
Penny could be good. Want to go Penny?
I'll gamble with you.
We're going Walker.
Go Walker.
We want to win.
I'll gamble with you.
We want to win. We're going to go 4 running back build, 2 rookies. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Wait, well, Penny could make it back to us.
Yeah, unlikely, but possible.
Possible.
Yes.
All right. You want to go tight end now? You're starting to get a tight end itch?
A little bit of tight end itch now, yeah.
We could go Schultz.
Yep, Schultz is on my list. There's also, it doesn't make sense for our team, really, but I love Pat Freiermuth. Waiting and getting somebody like a Cole Kmet later, too, is nice. More as a second, though.
Mm-hmm.
I just love the volume that Kmet's going to.
Are we going to? This is a 3 tight end build.
Yes, it depends upon who our number 1 or 2 is. But
really? Okay.
Yeah.
I thought that ship had sailed.
No,
That's why we're
talking.
That's why we're having this conversation. This is very interesting.
Yeah, I am fine having a Cole Kmet and a an Ingram even as 1-2. I'm fine having Dalton Schultz and a Cole Kmet just because it's not tight end premium, right? We're half PPR. You're really the tight end position itself. I mean, you can go a third, but I think you're going to get more value out of that wide receiver position where the points fluctuate and there's more variance.
Oh my God. What about Miles Sanders as our 4th running back?
I love Miles Sanders. He's my most owned running back right now.
All right, let's put him in the queue.
We don't care if you guys snipe us. We're just gonna add people in here.
Tony
Pollard's another name
Sanders,
too.
I think that's you know what? I love that. Ooh, there. See, Spiller goes. See, people know Spiller's actually mocked ahead of Walker.
Sanders just went.
Fuck. Isn't Kareem Hunt gonna end up going somewhere if he gets cut to be a starter? Maybe. Kinda.
I don't think he's still another year, doesn't he?
He does, but it's all unguaranteed money.
Do you think he might be? A cap
He's making over
casualty?
$6 million. They might cut him.
And then they're talking that they haven't even re-signed Laundry yet. They might be going through like a rebuild here.
They might go through a quiet rebuild, and we might get Penny.
Yeah.
It's very possible.
Bradley's no. Bradley's
NF42 has 2 running backs. The other 2 guys have 4.
Yeah,
so
Bradley's
I
on
think
the clock right now.
NF42 is a threat, but he didn't snipe us last time.
He sniped us one.
NF42, don't do
Who did
it.
he take?
Don't do it.
He took Fournette last time. If he snipes us again,
he did snipe us once. I forgot. Though there was a time before we were going to take Evans. Remember, and he didn't snipe us. Oh man, I'm now really nervous.
Yeah,
Penny would be nice here.
Penny would be nice.
That would be really nice. So we can just move on from running back. Oh my god.
Walter Picks. Go
5
kick
running
rocks.
back build already.
Go kick rocks, Walter Picks.
Walter Picks, come on, man.
So for me, it's probably
Pat.
Yeah, it's
Fryer.
Pat. It's Fryermuth is top of my list. Either that, or I look at Christian Kirk and but I think I like Pat here.
Kirk's a free agent.
Yeah,
Probably resigns, but he's interesting. Wherever he goes, he's probably going to be productive.
let's just take Pat.
I think we got to take
safe.
Fryermuth, though. We can't take a risk. I'm surprised his
move.
ADP is this late.
Fryermuth.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was a consistent top 5
He
tight
was
end down the stretch.
consistent.
He had just his hands
I'm
are
actually
so good.
shocked.
Yeah, I am too.
Shocked.
Actually, I was fully expecting him to be like a round to 2 rounds after like Dallas Goedert.
Oh, what do we got a running back here? We're gonna need to get a running back.
Yeah, we're getting thin.
Chase Edmonds. Ooh, yeah.
Either that, or we can do.
Chase Edmonds is a free agent.
He is a free agent.
He's good. Anywhere Chase Edmonds goes, they're gonna find a role for him. He's gonna be productive.
Yeah, he's been going later though. We could it'd be a reach if we took him, but it would be securing a position.
What about Melvin Gordon? You ever draft him?
I actually do. I think it's a good value this year. The
I
name's
do,
not
but
sexy.
Is it too early? Is that pick 117? Yeah, it's a little early.
I don't care if it's half round early. You're not
Yeah,
going to get
actually,
him back.
no. We'll take him right at ADP.
Yeah, you're not going to get him on the way back.
For build purposes, oh man, I still would rather have Kirk. But I understand for build purposes. I also want Jacoby Myers.
We could turn this into a 6 running back build if we need to, right? Like we could switch it up mid-win and take another tight end in a minute and then just do 2 tight ends and go 6 running backs.
Oh, that's interesting. Really?
Yeah.
Is that something we do?
You could with now that we're getting thin at running back.
We going Fant or Ertz or what?
We could do Fant. I like Fant, especially if Rodgers. You could hedge bets here and then say if Rodgers does go to Denver and
No, the problem is if he goes to Denver, they're going to trade Fant back to the Packers.
they could, or they
That would
trade
be-
somebody
That
like,
would be mega ultra heartbreaking.
or they trade someone like Cortland Sutton, or
Oh, I don't know. My brain is frozen at this point.
I say we go Melvin Gordon, secure the running back position because there's some tight ends I like later.
Good.
Okay.
Melvin
And that-
Gordon's going to have a good role wherever he goes.
Well, it also looks at like Melvin Gordon's role wherever he is going to be early in the season, which is where these rookies are going to lack, right? Is the beginning of the weeks 1, 2, 3, which is going to give us something to hang our hat on as these rookies
that's-
develop. And
See,
then
that's next level.
and then from there,
That's next level, Billy.
as Melvin Gordon gets phased out, then these
Yes.
rookies step in and take over and to get the points.
I don't know though. I got to tell you, this is right at the border. Man, I wish we could conference in Josh. I wish we could conference in Josh. I need to phone a friend. This is like one of those. This is
send him
like
the
one of
link.
those game
You can
shows.
send the link.
Phone a friend. Is Akers, Hall, Walker? If you're out there, Josh, DM me something. Tell me, Akers, Hall, Walker, Gordon. Is that good enough? Is that quality enough running backs to justify a 4 running back build? I think in my gut, I think he would say yes.
I'm going to say yes.
Go for it.
I'm going to say
he's big on YOLOing the 4 running back builds.
So this is for me. It's teetering because
it's teetering.
If it wasn't 2 rookies,
but this is where you had those 2 rookies and you start to lose your nerve.
Yeah.
You start to lose your nerve with the build, and you're like, I gotta get another running back.
4's too risky, he says. So
come on, stop it.
Why
are you showing that comment? You don't want to lose your nerve. I'm losing my nerve, man.
No, this is the Justin Herzig hyper build, right? This is what he won with. It's the 4 running back build. Like you don't play these things for.
Wait, is this is the tournament?
Yeah, this is the tournament. So
this
you don't
is a
play
tournament
these
build, guys. We're taking a swing that these rookies are going to hit. That's it. We're not going with another running back. Get out of here with your risk. If this was a 12-man league, maybe.
Yep. You have to
it's
swing
a
for the
tournament,
fence,
guys. We're rolling the dice. We're saying these quarterbacks are going to hit hard. They're going to be great all year. These running backs are going to hit, and they're going to sequence the way Billy talked about. And we just got to load.
So Ferris mentioned this.
Oh, that's right. 4RB was 18 rounds.
No,
God,
but
he's right about that.
No, he's not though. I was talking with Herzig came on the show a couple weeks ago, and we were talking, and he said something, and it's exactly what I've been doing. The extra 2 rounds, all people have been doing is adding 2 more wide receivers, or a 3rd quarterback, and solidifying another position. They're still building hyper builds. 4 is still fine. It's
hyper
it's
fragile. Okay, so what this allows us to do, if we go tight end here, we can finish out this draft only drafting wide receivers.
Cole Kmet is the name.
Well, there's no car. It's him and Mooney. Who else?
Yeah, Cole Kmet. I'm drafting Cole Kmet.
Okay, so we get Kmet here.
Yep, took him.
We already got him. Oh my God!
Yeah, we're good.
Okay,
and now we're good at tight end.
This is cool. So now we can draft
all wide receivers, unless we see a running back that slips to us down the road or something, right? Like that's the only time I'm going to take another running back here. You can, and I'm going to admit these 4 running backs for me are a little risky for the hyper build. That being said, they all present the upside enough. Maybe not Gordon the upside, but he still has it. But I'm not as like I'm not sitting back. Sexy time,
Listen,
Melvin Gordon right now.
You need a guy or 2 to get you into the tournament, like Gordon, and then you can let these rookies take over. That's how we're playing this. This build makes so much sense. We just need to make sure. Is it hype fragile? This is a hype fragile. This is a hyper
fragile.
No, but this is a hype fragile because we're going rookies.
The thing about successful is a very vague term. Now, what you define success and what I define success are 2 different things. I'm playing a tournament like this to win the top prize. I'm looking at winning several thousands of dollars. I don't care if I pass round 1 and I'm eliminated round 2. To me, that's not successful.
The only guy I would accept us drafting is right now Kyren Williams.
They go all rookies.
Yeah. If we go with a 5th running back, it's going to be right now, and it's going to be Kyren Williams. Otherwise, I'm out.
Okay, we're out. I like someone else. I like Kyren Williams, but
who do you like? Chenault?
Redraft best ball, not dynasty best ball.
Going Chenault?
Huh? Chenault's on my list. There's somebody else too that goes with a stack for our team. I don't want to mention it because somebody in here might snipe us.
Thinking.
The team has 2 receivers who are recovering from injury.
Yeah. Gallup is gone. Well, it can't be. It's too early for Wilson. Lazard. What?
So the other receiver is Van Jefferson, right? Because Bob Woods is recovering from injury, and you have Odell Beckham, who's a free agent, who's also recovering from injury. And then I also like LaVisca here. Oh, someone took him anyways.
I would prefer LaVisca. LaVisca has
LaVisca went
quiet breakout
three picks
potential. He had
ago.
100 targets last year.
He went 3 picks ago.
Take Jefferson. No, I'm just saying, theoretically, when we're talking about guys we like. Also, don't forget, Trevor Lawrence is going to be a lot better this year. That shoulder injury lingered. And he had no weapons, no offensive line. They're going to fix everything. This is going to be like a clean sweep, fix-it-all offseason for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Yeah. I'm loving Trevor Lawrence.
So we have Ferris here. I understand. Oh, wrong one. No, it is. To get as many teams as possible. Yes, I agree. You want as many teams you possibly can get. But I'm not drafting 10 of these teams. I'm not drafting 20 of these teams. I'm not drafting 50 of these teams.
Would you go
I'm drafting
Gainwell
100
here?
to 150 of these teams.
Gansman, you going to go Gainwell here? Tell us what to do. Kyron Williams is still available, Gansman.
So for me, I don't build every team the same. I build some that are hyper fragile. I build some that are 3 tight ends. I build some that are 3 quarterbacks. I build some that are 6 running backs. So whenever I'm building a team, I look at it from a unique perspective, and I try to do something different than what I did in the week or even the days leading up to that draft. I haven't done a hyper build in well over a week now. I've been trying a new philosophy out, and I call it the no tight end, no QB build, where I literally don't take a QB or a tight end until round 12. And I just load up on running back and wide receiver in the beginning. And it's almost opposite of what we're doing now, right? And then I just hammer down, 3 tight ends. I'm looking at someone like Cole Kmet being my first one. And then I look at somebody like who's going undrafted is round 20 as my third, like Austin Hooper, because you look at the receiving core that the Browns have, and the name's not sexy by any means, but round 20 as a third tight end could pay off, right? Especially when you look at David Njoku, who's a free agent. Laundry might not re-sign.
David Njoku.
Yeah, Njoku's another name. So when I look at builds like that and I look at different things I can do, I like being creative. I don't like going what everyone does. I like to go against the grain.
So we're doing a very classic hyper fragile.
Right now
approach.
we are, yes. Yep.
We're playing the hits.
Yeah, and we're just hoping that the running backs.
We're playing. This is Stairway to Heaven.
Yeah, I don't have that song on my soundboard.
We're doing Stairway. It's okay though. And he's buying a stairway to heaven.
You should start an album.
We have George Pickens available, who is good. The beauty of this is that we can take chances at wide receiver if we're going to load up at such a high rate of receiver.
Yep, you can.
So this means rookies.
Does mean rookies. Means roles. Means upside.
Even Marvin Jones is not bad.
I love Marvin Jones.
He
had 21% target
Parker.
Share. I like Jones over Parker.
Why don't we just take Jones?
I think he might get taken here. This NF42 guy's been sniping us.
He has 7 receivers already, though. He's got to take a quarterback. He's got to take a running back.
Nah, he's gonna go. He's just picking to fuck with us.
Think so?
No, I'm just kidding.
What? See, there goes Parker. There it is. It's all teed up. It's all teed up. Come on, don't do it. Don't do it, NF42. Come on. Give it to us.
There we go. We got Marvin Jones. He had a 21% target share last year.
I'm in. I'm telling you. What did I tell you?
And that offense, they can't be any worse than they were with Urban Meyer.
Give me Trevor Lawrence. I mean, the switch from Urban Meyer's down the board in terms of I want a healthy Trevor Lawrence. I want him to have weapons. I want him to have Evan Neal at his left tackle, all that, and also a better coach.
We have a question here. Do you keep track of how many different builds you? I do actually. When I name my drafts, so I go through and I'll date the draft after I draft it. I'll date it and then I'll title it so I can see from the screen. So whether that is 3593 is that, or I don't know if that's the right math in my head right now. I've had some beer, but if you understand what I'm saying, I do the number of the build I did and the date, and then I look at that and just at a quick glance at my previous teams, and I'll just say, hey, how many have I done the last week with 2 tight ends? How many have I done the last week with 3 tight ends or whatever it may be, and just kind of a quick glance, and then after I get every team drafted, I actually Excel sheet out everything. And I have that way I can come back through and look at my my pass through rate. I can take a look and say, hey, was my 3 tight end builds, did they pass through? Like I took down 3rd in the FFPC best ball tournament last year. I was in 1st until Devontae Adams blew up on Sunday night and then ended up losing, I think, by 7 points overall.
Oh.
But it was, that was a 2 tight end build. That was a 5 running back build, right? So 5 running back was my most successful pass through rate last year. Outside that one team, like I had a lot of four team builds go, but just injury variance.
Did you have any 4 running back builds with 2 rookies?
No, not something I normally do.
Dude. We got Cedric Wilson.
Yep.
Easy.
So I was looking
easy
at
money.
Easy money.
Too easy. This is a very fun team.
It is.
This is a very fun team. It's very exciting. We have stacks now. We have officially have stacks.
Yep.
Which is great.
Yeah, we do have a couple stacks.
Wow, Josh Palmer went a little early, huh?
That's kind of where he's been going.
I know. Wow.
Yeah, it's a little early for my liking. I think that will adjust once they re-sign Mike Will. If they re-sign, I think they will. And once they do, I think he'll drop down more into that 14 to 16 range.
We're gonna draft Amir Smith-Marset, right? Does he go at all?
Yeah, we'll do it for yes. No, he does go. Usually a bit later. Bradley is keen on him, so we might have to reach for him because Bradley will take him. He's
okay. See, there goes your Nico.
Yep.
Oh wow. So in best ball, Palmer's got a much higher ADP then.
Yes, Palmer does have a higher ADP. Palmer in general, even in redraft right now, I've seen in some builds he's been going 2-3 rounds ahead of Nico pretty consistently.
He got to. Did you see this?
Huh?
Did you see Gansman? Did you see what he said?
Yeah, he said most of his teams had Dak and Rodgers stack going. Yeah. Well, you look at the price of it last year again,
and Dak was going around earlier last year.
Yeah, and Rodgers was going in the beginning. He was cheap because of the uncertainty, right? Was he going to play? What was going to happen?
Ninth round.
I had a team where I got Rodgers in round 17, and I already had 2 quarterbacks, but I'm like, fuck it. Like
what?
Yeah, just no one wanted to draft him.
What? Come on,
I'm dead serious.
I think he's gonna have a good year.
If as long as he plays, he's fine. Dude, I think he will.
He had all this whole COVID controversy swirling around him, contracts swirling around him. They're gonna sign him to like a 2-year extension. He's gonna make like $45 million a year. He's gonna have Devontae Adams back. He's gonna feel confident, cool, no drama. Like, people yelling at him for going to Hawaii on a special exemption. Remember all this?
Yeah, I do.
It's just like he's just gonna chill this year. I like it, and he's already developed his whole mellow, like spiritual vibe. Oh, we lost Berrios. Oh, devastating. You're getting Berrios, right? Normally,
I do like Berrios a lot. That's Bradley.
Berrios gonna be.
Yeah, the round 17
target machine.
Let me backstory to that draft though. That's called the hard way draft, and it's a bunch of high stakes guys that hate quarterbacks. So like quarterbacks fell regardless. So like we're quarterbacks. We normally were seeing like Josh Allen was going.
We're on the clock.
Oh, we are. Thank you for saying it. I'm over here talking to him. I've done that before. Dead zone.
Algier.
You want your Algier?
Stack them up. Want to stack up? Who do you like better?
Oh, we got 3 seconds.
Yes.
Oh yeah, we're in timeout. I threw in Mechie, I think. Yeah. We timed out. I
don't care. Mechie's fine.
Mechie's fine too. And we talked about rookies.
Do you like Lazard or MVS?
I like MVS more. I like the spike weeks, right? You look at, and Lazard I think has more consistency, but I think MVS has bigger weeks, like from spike standpoints.
MVS is a free agent though.
They all are. Everybody's a free agent.
Oh, Lazard is as well?
Yeah, you look at it. I mean, there's literally the only receiver I think, and I might have to double check myself on this, but if I recall, the only pass catcher who is signed for 2022 is Amari Rodgers, outside the franchise tag. I'm pretty sure.
No, I know Equanimous St. Brown's a free agent.
And Randall Cobb doesn't count.
Randall Cobb, come on, man. We got to do some research on the fly here. Lazard versus MVS. I'm not sure about this.
Contracts. Allen Lazard contract. RFA. Yep.
Restricted free agent.
Yep.
He's coming back then.
Possibly.
I mean, how restricted free agents rarely go anywhere because they're restricted.
Yeah, they get tendered or.
I prefer Lazard. I'll tell you that. I think he's just a better player.
Okay, I'm fine with Lazard.
Yeah, I think he's a better player. He's a good player.
Pringle's a free agent too. I don't know why I clicked on him.
MVS is just, oh God.
We're next. There we go.
You want to go Pringle?
No, I don't. No, Pringle's a free agent. I'm not sure what he's going to do next year.
Yeah, I know. Lazard. Come on.
Okay, we'll go RFA too. Is MVS RFA or
no? He's unrestricted.
Unrestricted, so he's probably gone.
Because Lazard was a free agent. He was not drafted.
Yeah.
So that's why those guys are RFAs. Like James Robinson's going to be that.
We had the answer in front of us the whole time. We just didn't look.
Because Gansman. Love this Ferris Gansman.
I know.
Hope you join my streams, Gansman.
Yeah, I love the interaction.
My streams are also good when they're on.
He's got this little show. I don't know if you've heard of it. What?
I love we're streaming, so we we love anyone that wants to participate is great.
Oh, I love the interaction we get. Yeah, it's
Wait
fantastic.
a second. Is Keyshawn Vaughn still available?
Yeah, he goes. I've got him in round 17, 18 on these drafts a lot. Yep, and with everyone being free agent over there, Rojo probably gets re-signed, but
you think?
He says he watches all your streams. There you go.
Oh, thank God. Thank God, Gansman. Feel free to jump into the comments. He's probably, I think he's just a hardcore best baller. I think that's why he's
yeah, he said he has about 110, 20 of these, I think is what he said.
God, this could change. I want to stick to the build, though. I'm not going to let Vaughn. God, it's possible that Vaughn is the starter.
It is very possible. And if not, they don't fully trust Rojo. Rojo's got brick hands.
Schmojo, get out of here.
Yeah, I'm going to
Are we going to override our like all this build we've been talking so much shit about?
Good. I don't give a shit. It's our build. We can do whatever we want.
I mean, I didn't know Keyshawn Vaughn was going to be available.
Oh, yeah. I've seen 17. Him go late. 17 is about.
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Okay, good. They're just making
sure
that
who's going to draft Justin Ross in the early third round, don't you?
Who?
The Jacksonville Jaguars.
No, they're not.
They are. They're going to
develop
back.
Terrace
They're going
Marshall.
to reunite the Clemson team.
They could, I guess.
I'm
going to pull up my ownerships. I'm wondering how much Vaughn I own. I'm not much for stat cuffing, but I've been doing a lot of Rojo and Vaughn builds because getting them late.
Mm-hmm. Well, because anything can happen.
In between the two of them, you're probably going to have the starting running back that late in drafts.
I love how Jay Ross could be confused with John Ross, and that would just
who else gets me is Johan Dotson. I think of Josh Doxson.
Exactly, I get that too. Brian Edwards truther time.
I love Brian Edwards.
Let's do it.
I can't. I'm too stupid to quit. You can say.
I don't believe in quitting.
No one likes quitters.
I don't believe in quitting. Hey, I know. Well, see, the difference between him and Devontae Adams is that Devontae Adams actually got targets in his first 2 years. He was super inefficient.
Yeah.
The danger with Edwards is that he was getting out targeted by Zay Jones. That's really the sad part. But I'm going to go ahead and push the button on him anyway. Fuck it.
Okay, so there he is, Brian Edwards. We're on the clock. Boom. I was looking at my exposure. Damn, I have 40% Keyshawn Vaughn right now.
Yeah, you should. As you should. As you should.
50% Brian Edwards.
I feel like we need another rookie receiver. We don't have enough rookie receivers. Thank God we got that John Mechie to help us get our rookie receivers up. Maybe we go Christian Watson or something.
Yeah, let's take a look at. I'm just gonna. I get rid of running backs.
Ooh, there's Zay Jones. Yep. Why not Zay Jones? Do you realize what Zay Jones averaging 9 targets a game second half? or
Yep.
at least in the last 5 games.
I don't mind Zay Jones.
I like Zay Jones as much as I like Christian Watson. I mean, Zay Jones actually did it for
And there's
like a 2-month stretch.
There's a player that we're going to draft in round 20. I do every single time. And it fits
As long as Zay Jones wouldn't crowd out another guy you like.
Nope. No, when I get to this point, I'm very flexible.
As much as I like Christian Watson, he could do absolutely beyond 0. Like, he could be a total 0 this year. I like him a lot. But
I wish they had a rookie button. Like, you could just click rookie, like right here or something, right?
I know. That would be cool. Hey, Underdog.
Yeah.
They've been so responsive with features, though. Oh, my God.
Yes.
Amazing.
The other one I asked them for, and they were going to pass it along, is up here, like very top up here at the end when you're done drafting. You could see the number. Like, these colors mean nothing to me, right? Like, I don't know if that's one or two. Yeah. Have it say like, 1393 or whatever, right? Or just have the numbers up there so I can see exactly what it is. I think so too.
I would say Zay Jones, and we can always get a receiver after Zay Jones, a rookie receiver. We do need one more rookie.
Okay.
Unless you think Zay Jones might make it back to us.
No, I don't think so. I think Zay Jones will go.
I think Zay Jones is very attractive.
Okay.
And Christian Watson's been taken off our hands, so thank you. This guy could go Zay Jones. He needs a receiver.
He went
A. Brown.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Oh, wow. Okay. You think Antonio Brown plays again?
I don't think so. I don't think
hard
we're
to
going to touch
believe,
him.
right?
Yeah, he's the dude needs help. Like, he really does.
It does. I mean, we all have a guy we know a guy that's not quite the most emotionally stable individual. And you just got to be careful. Like, when you go to bars, you got to watch him, But you don't want to have, but you always wonder when you're out at the bar with that guy, you're always wondering, I can't believe that guy has a job.
Yeah.
You're like, I can't believe he has coworkers. I can't believe he's able to keep it together. How does he fucking do that?
He has kids? What the hell?
How does he have kids? Yeah, you're always wondering, how is this possible? It's like, and then he doesn't have a job. And it's like, Antonio Brown, it's not going to last forever. And he's out. But I feel bad for him. So Jalen Tolbert is interesting in that he was very good at the Senior Bowl, super dominant, and because he's a little bit advanced, he's age 23.
Mm-hmm.
He's more refined, more polished. I could see him producing. In year one. He's interesting. He could also get drafted in round 2.
I have not watched film on him yet. I'm going to take your word for it.
I'm surprised he's still available. I don't really like many of the rookies that are available after this.
Yeah, it starts getting pretty abyss.
I would go Tolbert just because I want to get a rookie that I can actually have some excitement about.
Oh, he's actually pretty tall. I didn't know he's 6'3".
He's a fun player. Oh yeah. And he was the clear. Well, I want to say clear because Christian Watson was also really good at the Senior Bowl, but he was very good.
Built like a stick though. He's like 190 pounds for 6'3".
But that's not real. He's going to go to the combine, and he's going to come in at 6'1", 190, and he'll be the size of Calvin Ridley, and no one's going to have a problem. He apparently is very strong. He was a great blocker, great technique. So he doesn't that measurement, don't be fooled by that. That's like a classic, like they added 2 inches for no reason.
Have you seen this stat on him though? He hasn't faced a Power 5 opponent since 2019.
Listen, man, there's a lot of fear-mongering, okay, with these small school guys. Enough. I'm always the one that's going to cape up for the small school guy.
I like some of the small school guys, too.
I like them, man. If you're drafting on day 3, unless you have like an early declare, 5-star guy that for absolutely no reason falls to day 3, like Stephon Diggs.
Yeah.
Outside of that situation, you go small school dude on day 3. That's where the value is.
Yeah, and they're overlooked.
Antonio Brown, just talked about him. Perfect example. Yeah, let's go Tolbert, and then we'll we'll keep scrolling. I'm interested to see this Paris Campbell.
Yeah, and there's a lot of free agents there in Indy too.
And,
I own a lot of
dude.
Campbell, though.
Anthony Schwartz can blaze.
Yeah, Anthony Short, and they're talking about not resigning Laundry, and they're if they nope, there you go.
Anthony Schwartz is very interesting.
I'll put him in the queue as we talk. So if we auto, it doesn't matter. So Bradley says grab Amir Smith-Marset.
Too early, Bradley, but he's on our radar.
We have 2 picks
who'd you
left.
rather have, Amir Smith-Marset or Dwayne Eskridge? Put it that way.
Let's go. I haven't done any film study, but based upon what you just said on Tolbert in my literally like 1 minute of research, I think we take him.
Oh yeah, we're getting Tolbert. Yeah.
And there's one pick.
Now the question: we've already moved on mentally to the next round.
Yeah.
This is the final round. We got our final pick.
Yes.
Can we look at our build real quick? I just want to marvel that we did it, man. We did it.
So
we did the thing. We executed. We stayed true to the build.
I'll give you the count there. So we are right now 2-4-11-2. So we're gonna have 12 receivers. We started off with Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, Cam Akers, Mike Evans, Breece Hall, Dak Prescott, Aaron Rodgers, Kenneth Walker, Pat Fryermuth, Melvin Gordon, Cole Kmet, Van Jefferson, Marvin Jones, Cedric
all
Wilson,
orange.
all orange. Mechie, Alan Lazard, Brian Edwards, Zay Jones, and Jalen Tolbert.
I love this. This is very, very fun.
So
and
there's
now
one,
we take Amir Smith-Marset.
We could, or there's one player here that actually fits the build who I own in almost every round 20.
Please tell us.
It's going to be. Do you want to take any guesses here?
Give me a hint.
It goes with our stack.
Wait. Not Noah Brown.
No.
Is he the guy that the Cowboys drafted last year from Stanford?
Wrong stack.
You said Randall Cobb doesn't count.
Look in the comments.
Amari Rodgers. Oh, interesting. Oh, that's interesting. Okay. Over Schwartz?
Over Schwartz, yeah. It goes down to contracts, right? And yeah, they might re-sign one, but you have, or you get Devontae Adams back, but you just look at
they're going to lose Cobb. They're going to maybe lose MVS.
Yep.
Stack them up. That makes sense. That makes perfect sense.
And it goes with our build with the Rodgers stack.
Bingo. I love it.
He's my most owned player.
No, you know what happened was you said everyone was a free agent, and then we found out Lazard wasn't. So then in my head, I was like, well, there's no one left. I forgot about Rodgers.
Yeah, and they drafted, what was it, round 3 last year?
Yeah, and he was, it was a really weak Senior Bowl, but he was arguably the best receiver at the Senior Bowl. He also has good rushing and production. Like, guys like that end up delivering. Eventually, they find a way to get on the field. It's just weird that they gave him that opportunity early. Let him run some routes, and then they just vaudevillian caned him off the field out of the lineup. So that concerned me.
Well, Aaron Rodgers wanted a friend, is what it was. It wasn't about the receiver. It was the friendship, right? He just felt spited. He felt like he didn't have a say. So it was him just going out saying he wanted Randall Cobb, and them bending over backwards to get Randall Cobb. And who played in the position Randall Cobb?
No,
right?
Randall Cobb is a very similar prospect to Amari Rodgers. They're very similar dudes. So I think that, I like that a lot. It's a low probability play.
It is a low probability play.
But
if it hits.
I still think okay, here's what I'll say. If it was not a stack, I would have pushed back and probably insisted we go Schwartz.
Which I like too. I like Schwartz.
Yeah. Yeah, because there's going to be opportunity there. A lot of green grass for Schwartz.
All right. Well, let's take a look. Let's look at all the teams real quick. I'm gonna run through, and we'll just look at teams that we like. Are you able to see the teams up there?
Yeah.
One of the comments actually want us to look at their team here. So from the 11 hole, I think it's off the Schneid. Is that right?
Off the Schneid. Yeah, sure.
Off the Schneid. So Tyreek Hill, Joe Mixon, DJ Moore, David Montgomery, Joe Burrow, Hunter Renfrow, Garrett Wilson, Drake London, Ramondre Stevenson, Mike Gesicki, David Bell, Laviska Shenault, CJ Uzama, Rashad White, Wandale Robinson, David Njoku, Carson Wentz.
He got Njoku.
Yep.
He's the one that took
Christian
Watson.
He did. James Cook and Sam Darnold.
Wow. I like it.
That's
one of your three. That's one of your three quarterback bills.
It is. Yeah, you go late. I would have. I mean, I probably would have taken somebody like Davis Mills or somebody over Darnold. I don't know how much Darnold's going to have left in the league, but my only complaint about this is, and I like taking rookies, but I think it's a little rookie heavy, quite frankly.
Yeah, I was saying wow when I said wow. It was like I was adding up all the rookies in my head.
Yeah,
but then it's not just that; it's guys that aren't starters like Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah,
so it's very fragile in that way. Is there enough upside there? I don't know. Rashad White, what kind of role is he gonna have? I don't know, man. Once Kyron Williams was off the board, I was not interested in gambling on the running back. I don't know. Just because it's hard, man. It's hard for me to think about anything other than stockpiling receivers and feeling like I get a good base with the 2 quarterback build and the 4 to 5 running backs.
Yeah, and it is a 5 running back build, but 2 of those 5 are rookies.
With these late round running backs, oh man, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me to get my head around that unless, oh man, I don't know. It's just the receivers we know, like all the way out to Amir Smith-Marset.
Yeah.
We know he's going to get chances. We know he's going to be in there. You think Adam Thielen's going to stay healthy all year?
No, he's getting old. Was it like 34?
You know, and then there's like a 50-50 chance Smith-Marset supplants KJ Osborne. You know, it's like these guys are they're on the depth chart. They have draft capital. They've established themselves. They play special teams, all these things. We're talking about rookies that we don't even know if what's going to happen. Right? So... Yeah.
That's the reason why
It's a lot. It's one thing to go, Mechie from Alabama and 2 of the top 4 stud running backs, right?
Yep.
That's a different story, right? And a big-time flyer on a guy like Tolbert, who was a monster producer. Yeah. Yeah.
And you're also like,
I don't think it's worth it. I don't think the juice is worth the squeeze on this volume of rookies.
That, and then you're also just purely reliant on landing spot right now, and you may hit on a couple of them, but now, like, depending upon where they land, they may be 3rd, 4th fiddle. Like even like Amari Rodgers, who was drafted in the 3rd round, barely saw the field, right? So you may not have a lot of options, in the beginning of the year for your flex positions, quite frankly, with this many rookies in a build.
What's the difference between Rodgers and Burrow, by the way?
Like in an ADP, you're saying? Or
no, I mean in general. Like, what's the difference?
Like Rodgers has 2 MVP.
I mean, we essentially got Rodgers 2 rounds after Burrow.
Oh, Burrow's being overdrafted this year.
Yeah, I mean, so there's. I hate to be like negative. I want to be positive. I mean, I like Joe Mixon.
Yeah, I like Tyreek Hill.
But those were his first 2 picks.
I mean, I like DJ Moore too. I mean, I like a lot of the picks. For me, it was rookie based. I would have waited on quarterback. I like Joe Burrow, and I understand why he took him. He wanted to kind of take the stack with Joe Mixon. You can talk about it, and you can, from a logical standpoint, I see it, but I probably would have waited on quarterback.
Scroll down a little bit. I want to see more of this team. Wow, Drake London. That's a good pick. Of all the rookies, that was probably the best pick. The problem with taking David Bell that high is David Bell could slip into round 3.
Yeah.
So David Bell, we could have a Bryan Edwards situation with David Bell. As much as I like David Bell, the Shenault pick was a good pick.
I like Shenault, and I think he takes a step forward
there. So there were some good picks in there.
Another listener
overall, the rookie lean was just a little too extreme.
I agree. Ooh, the rookie lean was too extreme. We can make a song.
Yeah, and Burrow. I mean, come on, people, with the Burrow in the 5th round. Come on now.
BSP says, do me next. Jonathan Taylor, Jalen Waddle, T. Higgins, Tyler Lockett, Lamar Jackson, Traylon Burks, Damian Harris, Allen Robinson, Dalton Schultz, Kenny Golladay, Chase Edmonds, Tua, Gainwell, Trey McBride, Rojo, Marquez Callaway. I almost said MVS, and it's not MVS. Keyshawn Vaughn, Jimmy Garoppolo, A-OK, and Juan Jennings. I like this build.
Yeah, that's a great build. Yeah, we like it. He
it
took
doesn't-
Waddle top of the market, though.
He did take Waddle top of the market. Yeah, but and I sent you that on the email. I was looking at that. Remember, you and I were talking last year on your show, and I was saying, man, we're talking about where's Jalen Waddle going
I
to
said
go?
early third round.
Yeah, and we talked, said early third, and we're like, I'm out. I can't do it at the third round. And then now, though, he's got McDaniels, and the usage with Debo has me intrigued. But again, second round, I feel like you're drafting him at the ceiling, right? There's not much room for error at this point.
I would
love
like
the
to
talent.
see.
I love the
either-
connection.
I would like to see some air yards from him before I get second round vibe.
Yeah,
And
but then again, like,
he's got theoretical. So you're taking him eight picks. Look at just at ADP, not where Debo went in this draft, but
yeah.
you're taking him what? You're taking him 4 or 5 picks after Debo's ADP because he's theoretically Debo.
8, might say more like 8 or 9 picks. After
8 or 9, whatever.
Yeah.
8 or 9 after Debo on a theory, on an extrapolation, on it's theoretical, right? So this is where with Jamar Chase, like, enough. Like, we get it. Like, he's unbelievably awesome. And I know that Mike McDaniel's excited to have, right? He was on the Dan Le Batard show. He's pounding the table. He's so excited for Waddle. But every coach does that to a degree. Gets excited about their best player, and that's their best player. They're going to bring in an upgrade at receiver.
Yeah.
They're going to. And I think they're drafting at the end of the first round.
Oh, I don't know off the top of my head.
So I think that's a spot where they could go receiver too. But to produce with a low ADOT when your target competition was Durham Smythe and Isaiah Ford and Albert Wilson isn't as impressive as what Debo did at any point in his career as a 49er. So I just can't, man. I'm sorry. I can't. I've also seen some things, man. Like, I've seen some things. I've seen first year breakouts bust and become one year wonders.
Yeah.
It happens all the time. In fact, we could look up in a couple of years and realize, oh, Brandon Ayuk actually never broke out.
No.
We thought he was going to, and he had these stretches. But actually, when you add it up, he never had a 1,000-yard season.
No, and
This is a conversation we could be having.
It wasn't like he shined above the rest of the people out.
And he is kind of like Jalen Waddle in terms of watching him play. And yet, it doesn't quite ever really materialize. So Jalen Waddle, it's nice to see a second year of production, and then I'm in. You can get him in the second round next year. Why don't you just take him in the second round in 2023? All right, wait and see. Right? I mean, this is like certain stocks. It's like you didn't need to take that stock when it's at $300.
So he falls off the Waddle. He takes.
You could take it when it's $350 a year from now, or maybe it's $150 a year from now. You don't need to buy it right now.
Yeah, I'm on the fence with Waddle. I love the talent. I love his new coach. The offensive line, which Gansman touched base on here, is terrible, and I think that's going to be addressed. I like Waddle a lot, and I was in our email exchange. I even said, man, I know his ADP went up for exactly where we said it was going to land, but I'm still intrigued. I really am. But I find myself
in best ball though. Isn't
like
T Higgins
BSP
going to give you more spike weeks?
Yeah, or like BSP said here, he preferred DK Metcalf and he went, which he was surprised. And I like Metcalf better there too. I also like Higgins better there in my rankings.
But Metcalf went one pick before.
That's what he said. He said he was surprised he went.
Yeah, I mean, I think of course Metcalf. Yeah, sure. I mean, I think it's a debate of Waddle versus Lamb.
Yep.
I think that's an interesting debate because we haven't also seen it with Lamb yet.
Yeah, Lamb's been. I mean, you have to think he's been.
Waddle's year was more impressive than Lamb's was.
I agree.
So, like, I'm not necessarily like into Lamb there either. I'm pretty locked into Metcalf actually in that spot. I'm pretty disappointed if I don't get Metcalf and I can fall back to Higgins.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't need to get involved with these young receivers.
That's exactly my play is Metcalf to Higgins right
you
there.
You just don't need to get involved. You don't.
Or I'm taking Antonio
Gibson
early is what I'm doing. And I understand why he didn't. He's got JT. So he follows up Waddle with T. Higgins, goes Tyler Lockett. It would have been nice if you could have stacked those with Metcalf, but what didn't happen? Lamar Jackson there for the upside play. Treylon Burks. Okay, Treylon Burks is most people's rookie 101. Is he your 101 for wide receivers only? I'm talking.
Yeah, by a lot.
Okay. Damian
Harris. Problem is if he and London have similar athleticism, and then London goes say 10 picks earlier,
or to a better spot.
And a better spot potentially, it's gonna be tricky. I don't know what to say. Chargers get Burks longer term. If they maybe franchise Mike Williams and then draft Burks, holy shit.
Then he follows up with Damian Harris as his running back 2. He gets Allen Robinson, who could have a bounce back campaign. We'll see where he lands. Any random guesses where you think he may go?
He should go to Philadelphia in terms of where his skill set is most needed.
That's a good.
It is Philadelphia. I don't even think that's like a question. I think that's.
Been hearing New Orleans, so they have no cap space. I don't understand how it's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the other best fit is New England. They desperately need an X receiver. They just have these 2 flankers in Bourne and Myers. They really need it. They need a guy that can beat man coverage, occupy alpha corners. They need that. Devontae Smith really needs that. So in terms of pure fit, I could see that. But again, I think that we kept coming back to this, but Buffalo has no weaknesses except like auxiliary receiver. And you could say, oh, it's Gabe Davis, but I mean, I think they're in the market for a receiver. So we'll see what happens there.
How amazing would this be? Allen Robinson had the year he did deliberately so he could take less money to go play with Aaron Rodgers and Devontae Adams in Green Bay.
I think that would be incredible. He deserves it, too, because he's only played with horrific quarterbacks his entire career. He's the most snake-bitten wide receiver I've ever seen.
Oh, come on. Blake Bortles was a magician.
No, yeah. He could also end up in Jacksonville. He could also go back to Jacksonville.
Could go back to Jacksonville.
Totally different ball game. Why wouldn't he end up? You know what? I would do a hot swap if I was Miami. Just cut Parker and bring in Robinson.
Wheeler says, isn't Kansas City the best option for every wide receiver?
Well, that is every wide receiver, but everyone thinks Juju's going there.
Yeah, well, because they made a push for him last year. They offered him more money than
everyone's saying. Like I didn't say Kansas City because everyone's penciled in Juju, and maybe I'm wrong, but sometimes like you just got to go with the crowd on that one. That one I'm just going with the crowd.
So then he comes back with Dalton Schultz, who we wanted that round. So damn you. And then he took Kenny Golladay. So another talk about. Bad campaign, had a bad campaign with year 1 with the Giants. Follows up with Chase Edmonds, who we were also talking about, then Tua to pair with his Waddle at the top. Like it's a purse or something. Tua has his Waddle. And then Kenneth Gainwell, Trey McBride, Rojo. We were talking Rojo too. A lot of these players, and this is the way I'm talking about. This is the build I've been doing because it's so cheap. And I'm normally not a stat cuffer, but Ronald Jones and Keyshawn Vaughn, you're getting 15 in round 17, sometimes later, right? And you're getting arguably the number 1 running back for Tampa Bay for the season at 0 cost almost. I've been doing this build quite a bit right now.
Listen, the Dolphins could easily cut Devontae Parker. They'd save $3.5 million against the cap.
Yeah,
they would save $3.5 million. I mean, still be over $5 million of dead money, but dead money's dead money. The bottom line is they would free up more than $3 million by cutting Devontae Parker. And if they don't think if they believe that he is only marginally helping their team, there's no reason to have to burn that $3 million on a guy that's not helping you. And if you think that you could use that money toward Allen Robinson.
Yeah. No, I mean, it makes sense.
That's the hot swap right there.
He follows up with Jimmy Garoppolo at the end. Albert, I call him A-OK because I can't pronounce his last name. So A-OK and then
A-okay, I might steal that.
It's A-okay, man.
Yeah,
And
man,
I like
it's
Albert.
cool, man. It's A-okay. It's cool.
Well, appreciate you coming on, man. It was awesome drafting with you, talking rookies.
You know what? This is one of those time warps where, like, how much time went by? Who knows? It was amazing.
2 hours and 15 minutes exactly.
Shut
right
up.
now. I'm dead
Shut
serious.
your mouth.
That's why I was like, do you got time to draft?
Shut your bearded mouth, Billy.
Yeah, 2 hours, 15 minutes, and 6 seconds. And we were on about 5 minutes
Motherfucker,
before.
Taking me away from my family. Shame on you. They're wondering where their father is and their husband. Where the hell? Oh,
Yeah.
Billy. Next thing's gonna be a plane ride.
Yeah, exactly.
He's up in the air.
I gotta fly all the way to Connecticut though. That's a long flight.
No, I'll come to you.
You come out here, I'll get you up in the air, no problem.
Come there, man.
We can
Thank
go
you.
fly the mountains. Thanks for
Hey,
coming
everybody
on,
out there. Fantasy data, premium NFL package, playerprofiler.com. Hell yeah.
hit them up. And if you, for some reason, been living under a rock and you don't know what Underdog is, sign up using code FFF at Underdog for a 100% deposit match up to $100. And we're doing these drafts live all the time during the off season here with guests like Matt, Bradley, and I talking ADP. We're back tomorrow, by the way, talking ADP, comparing our rankings to Underdog ADP right now and calling out any, avoids, buys, everything. So come back tomorrow. I'll post a time on Twitter once we get that finalized. But Matt, again, buddy, thanks for coming on. Really appreciate you. And we will see everybody here back tomorrow night. Have a good night.